As I suspected, 32 flavors. As I What?
Hello, human beings. How are you doing tonight? It's nice to see everyone here in the chat, and you guys came loaded with the comments. Jeez, 70 says, "Gentlemen, I am sorry I won't be with you. I am at a Dallas Stars game. I will be with you." Nice to hear from you, 70s. Hey, enjoy Texas, man. I wish I was in Dallas, but maybe another day. Well, I know you don't. You live in Texas, so fuck
I've been
off.
to Dallas.
I know. Well, I enjoyed being there. Too. I enjoyed it. So, and I see.
Oh, I go to the Cowboy games. Yeah.
Naked Fame come out to play. So, guys, I was originally going to get some glasses to knock and set to do that. And this was the result of me trying to do it here. Let me zoom in.
Oh, no.
That is just quitters talk. You would have powered through.
You should have been using a beer bottle, not a Coca-Cola bottle. That's
How do you not have any beer bottles in your house?
Because I only have cans. I'm like, oh, what can I do for a substitute? Oh, this will do. That backfired, obviously. So, oh well. Hey, I tried.
Well, what are you doing with cans? Bottles obviously taste better. The glass, the aluminum doesn't have that same taste.
The stuff I buy comes in cans. If it came in bottles, I would buy it in bottles. That's just how the cookie crumbles. It really do be like that. And I see. All right. So commenting is dangerous. House of Trades, your Muslim uncle. How are you? Hungry for common sense and comics again. I love how you change your name. How are you guys? Brian Barth, deleted scenes. D Bud Martin. How you doing, dude? As always, Dragon Master. Rob Altus. I3AR3. How are you guys? And welcome to the Toxic Tuesday. No, I actually have been clean tonight. The episode 31 edition. So, Mad Mardigan, how you been?
Excellent. I love the Warriors. I've seen it.
Awesome.
This is the first
from beginning to end.
This is the first time I'm watching this movie.
Yeah. Dustin, how are you, dude? I missed you last week.
I missed you guys too, man. Yeah, I was had some stuff to do, but I'm doing okay. I think hunkering down. I think we're gonna get a bunch of snow.
Yeah, we might get a bunch of snow. So it'd be funny if we didn't, but it is what it is.
Everybody's out buying milk.
Oh, I know, dude. The world
has the end of the world when it's gonna snow here.
Oh, I know. Every time. YetiCast, how you doing, dude?
Ooh.
Well, I'm doing good. Thanks for the introduction, Lemmy. Let's just give a shout out to all the truckers out there fighting for our freedoms and
so Canadian.
The convoy of freedom. Come on.
Oh, you're so Canadian.
This is not the place for that yet.
So anyways, guys, Yeti.
It so is.
Yeah, I love what you did with the video, by the way. Thank you very much. And
no problem.
I see that your ideas mesh well with my humor. I think we've got a good looking.
You said go crazy, so that's dude, where I went.
You did. You went all the way with it. I was thankful, so thank you. So, no, I'm very thankful. Thank you, and I'm glad to see your Go Bubble Ranger video do well too. So, glad to see you're back on track.
3K now,
dude. Is that like your most watched video ever?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Nice, killer.
I haven't
dude.
seen it.
Keep it up, man. Mark, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Well, happy birthday to my better half. So
yes,
we went
happy
out to
birthday.
A fancy French restaurant with all those unpronounceable names on it, and we had a good dinner. And so I'm here for Toxic Tuesday for the nightcap. Yeah, so it's a Tuesday.
That's what I like
Tuesday
to see,
night,
Mark.
so.
That's dedication.
Yeah,
Tell the wife,
right?
like, yeah, it's your birthday, but I got Toxic Tuesday, so
Yeah, she
early bird dinner for you.
Sad about that. Yeah, early bird dinner. Yep, we're getting old now. She's 29 for the third time. No, just kidding. But, yeah,
for the third time.
Yeah, no, it's a fun. Yeah, I always look forward to this. Yeah, and yeah, we got. You want me to play? Well, let me know when you want me to play that intro video. Nick.
You could go ahead and get going at any second.
Yeah, here we go. We have a special video for tonight.
I'm doing my hurrahs right now, but yeah,
we got a special video for tonight. So here we go. Here.
Great intro, great start to it.
I already hate it. Look at those dead eyes.
Yeah, because I'm looking at your mom because he's dead.
Do you want to give that one another shot, or
No, I'm
or
happy
what?
with
Are you
it. I
happy
don't
with
care.
it?
No, I'm happy because you and I get it.
Warriors, come out to play. Warriors.
I'd wear that. I'd wear that vest.
I thought you'd like that.
Warriors, come out to play.
That vest is a guarantee no one will ever talk to you when you go out in public.
Good, just the way I want it.
Perry Chan weeps. Perry Chan weeps. Thank you for that. And I see Mr. Dragon and RC from the NYC. How you doing, guys? And speaking of Mr. RC, RC from the NYC for $10 says, Warriors, come out to play. RC, you are one generous son of a bitch, dude. I'm just saying you are one generous motherfucker. And I cannot wait to receive those NYC bagels, by the way. I will definitely do a video when I receive them. So thank you for the $10, and I can't wait to get those bagels. Thank you. Raquel, how are you doing? Nope, she left. No, she's gone.
She's on mute.
All right. She is on me. I don't know why. No, she
That video
she
scared her, I
herself.
guess.
It must
Mad
have.
was too toxic already.
Mad was probably too toxic. Oh well. When she's back, she'll be back. So, Sir Dustin, I'll let you be the leadoff man since you're missing one of the two missing men last week. Talk about your life experience with the Warriors.
My life experience with the Warriors started today.
Yes.
I mean, okay, so when I reached out and I asked what this week's movie was going to be, and you said the Warriors, and I went to IMDb to look up Warriors, and this movie with Gary Busey came up.
Yes, Warrior. Yeah, it has Joel Helgerton in it, and it also has Tom Hardy in it. That's an awesome movie.
And I couldn't
Check
find
that
it.
one
I'm
out.
like, fuck, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna watch this movie? And then I looked back at it and I'm like, oh, The Warriors. And I went back and looked again. And it was on Hulu, so I was like, all right, cool. So I watched that shit today, man. That's a strange but awesome ass movie.
All right, strange but awesome SOE. I love it. You saw it today after all these years. I figured someone like you would have seen it a while, but you know what? Shit happens. And,
I mean, there's so many movies that like it's impossible to see them all. Like even hear of them. I've seen, because we used to rent movies when I was a kid, like 6 movies, 8 movies a week. So I've seen a ton of fucking movies, and probably tons and tons of ones that people never ever heard of, and you probably couldn't even find now.
Mm-hmm.
We would just rent the most random movies when I was a kid. But my mom would do most of the picking, so she wasn't picking like movies like The Warriors.
Well, I bet you've seen Fried Green Tomatoes more than once.
I've seen it actually exactly once.
Oh, hey, Dustin, the Book of Soul Assassin has a question for you. Did you dig it, Brutile?
I did. I dug it a lot.
All right, there's your answer. Killer.
Also, what
Awesome.
about Now and Then? I bet you saw Now and Then too.
Well, he's just a now guy.
I don't know.
Well, wasn't it a great one when you got one of those dad picks?
Bridges, Madison County.
No, my mom would watch weird, like my mom is how I saw Roadhouse and Dirty Dancing and
nice.
Ghost and all kinds of like that.
Well, okay, that was a weird mix. You're like Roadhouse. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. And then you're like Dirty Dancing. I'm like, oh.
And like The Color Purple. My mom had an eclectic taste in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Or she
Nice.
really liked Kurt Russell had like a big thing for him.
Yeah. Oh, you know that Caruso, I tell you, he's quite the
I mean,
stud,
in
just
Roadhouse,
Roadhouse.
Yes. Mr. Mardigan,
Yes.
talk about your story with the Warriors.
Oh man, it dates back years. I played the Warriors game on the Xbox, and I watched some clips today.
Ah.
I just can't
So-
believe you haven't seen the full one. Honestly, that
I-
surprises
of
me.
course- It's cool. I've seen the full one.
I was gonna say because it's probably the clips you didn't see is when they're all hanging out with those girls.
Oh, gross! I saw some of that. I'm like, ugh, get it off my screen.
But everything else,
You know why she lives in a rodent-infested house where she has to like prostitute and do drugs? Because she's a woman. I don't even know her name. What's her name? The one that sounds like a chicken?
A chicken.
That makes the chicken sounds. I don't know if it was just the clip I saw, but like,
yeah.
Oh, she
she's
totally
going like,
emasculated
"Burp,
the
burp."
guys there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she shut
That
them
was a great
down
scene.
and then left
Yeah.
them because she wanted more excitement. So she left
Oh,
with the other
Mercy.
guys.
Mercy.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, Soul Assassin brings up a good point. Roadhouse has one of the craziest lines you ever hear in a fight. When they're fighting in the water and the dude's behind him and he goes, "Oh, I used to fuck guys like you in prison." What? No, you don't say that in a fight. What kind of fight is this? No wonder you got your throat ripped out. Who says that to another man in a fight?
Apparently they
Ugh.
do.
Rock hard though, the whole time.
Nice. Well, thank you.
Do you still have
Just
the hot
let it
percent,
linger.
Howard?
Just let it
Just
linger.
let it linger. Sit out there.
I'm good with it.
All right. Well, thank you, Magnificent One.
Yeah.
Raquel,
Yes.
why don't you talk about the first time you saw The Warriors?
When the first time I saw The Warriors, I thought it was a really balanced film.
Really balanced. All right, go on.
Mm-hmm. And I like how it started out with all these gangs coming in together, and this guy named Cyrus.
Cyrus. Yep.
Yeah, like he was like some kind of messiah or something like
Mhm.
that, which it was kind of funny. And I just liked the way how the Warriors trying to get out of the situation that they were getting in, and how they survived it and stuff.
Ooh, comic panels.
Yeah.
His
that's
name
the
was
this
Cyrus?
has to be
the Ultimate Edition. Yep.
Yes.
this had to be one of the first comic book movies. Like
Yeah, technically it was one of the first
Was this
ones.
before or after Howard the Duck?
Well, this has been
Before.
redone. We can
Before.
talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll mention that
Well-
after. Yeah. But
No, after we do our round, we'll talk about that. All right, killer. Well, thank you, Raquel.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add before I move on to the next guy?
No, move on.
Okay.
yeah.
Mark, sir,
Okay.
talk about your life with the Warriors.
Warriors. All right. So I don't know if I'm the oldest one on this panel, but I saw this at a
100%.
sleepover at 100% probably. Yeah. So I saw this at a sleepover at Jeff Foster's house in 1980. All the guys got together, we got our pizza. I was, probably 12 years old or something. And don't tell
Mhm.
my mom, but I saw a rated R movie when I was 12. So, this was like, Forbidden Fruit. It was 80, 81, whatever the hell it came out on VHS. It was a big deal to like get to see this movie. 'Cause you couldn't, we're too young to see it in the movie theater, and everyone wanted to see it. It was freaking blew, it was just blew you away. It was just, and it was a great, movie to watch overnight because it's based on Greek story, a famous Greek story by Xenophon. A group of warriors. That's what this comic book panel is. So they're traveling, trying to. If you read, the original story or know the original story, so it's been transposed to modern day, New York City, which is awesome. So they're telling the story about the Greek soldiers who were isolated, and this was just a kick-ass movie. It was just, and back then it made a huge impact because it was back then the city was falling apart. New York City was the 70s, Fort Apache, the Bronx, and things were pretty freaking dangerous. I mean, more than 2,000 people are getting killed a year, murdered in New York. It was, it was before it got,
so it's
40
like
seconds
today.
it got Disney-fied.
Well,
Let's go.
thank
It's
God it
going
got
back.
fixed.
It's going back to today, but Giuliani, after Giuliani cleaned it up, but it was, you didn't want to walk around in New York City, a lot of places, especially late at night. And so that movie reflected, and it was one of the first movies, I think, that, you could show, showing the gangs and somewhat of a positive light too, in term, and it wasn't really judging them. It was just showing, that's what they had to do to survive. But this movie was a huge deal. And of course, a lot of people were against it. They didn't want to show it. They wanted theaters to ban it. You know,
Mhm.
parents didn't want, oh, you can't watch this, you know, it's too toxic. So, and then these panels here, just to, you know, really quick, the original director wanted to do all this stuff, but the timeline was so quick for the release date. So
Yeah.
he was
That
a
was a
huge
big
Walter
deal.
Hill, was a huge comic book fan. So he wanted to have these panels done in there. Of course, they didn't have the money or the time or the budget to do it. Of course, it's a little bit easier now. So there's a new Ultimate Edition that came out in 2005, and they've got commentary and they've added these panels and I think added a few scenes. I can't remember now, but it really
the
shows.
panels are awesome.
Yeah, these
They're
are awesome.
so cool in there.
And it shows how gritty the city was back then. I mean, that's it. They just filmed at night in the city. They didn't have to dress anything up. I mean, that's the way the city looked in the
man.
70s. If
Did
you were
they
there.
film on location?
Yeah, it was on. All
Yeah,
on
the
location.
actual location. Like
Really?
they
And
were
what's
actually
funny about
kind
them,
of on the. Oh, go ahead, Dustin.
I would say that what's funny about them, they filmed on location. It was so dangerous that they actually, a film crew had to pay the mongrels $500 a day
Yep.
to protect their film equipment.
Yep, that's true. No,
That's-
that's true. That's true.
I
He's
believe
right.
it.
Because they were like, they wanted to make sure they could get the grittiness done to be accurate to how it actually was. And they're like, kind of like, oh crap, we're just a bunch of like California types, and we're here in New York City messing
Gonna
with
get your
this
asses
whole other
kicked.
area. Yeah.
I think it really lends to the not the realism, but just like the grittiness, the feel to a movie when they are able to film it, not just where it takes place, but if it is a movie about like The Wire, you know, filmed in West Baltimore, you know, corruption, West Baltimore. I just finished rewatching the series. It's a great series. But the dude that played Brody, he was talking about how one night he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and just, you know, go to the projects or whatever and just walk around and see what's up. He goes, I learned I should not do that ever again. Like he almost died like 3 times that night. And so like they had a lot of problems like that as well. And like people were trying to sell Bubs heroin because he looked like a heroin addict in the show. But if you look at Training Day, they used a lot of the locales and they used a lot of like real people. Even in The Wire, there was like people playing the detectives and like that were really the detectives the story would kind of came from, and the criminals. Like there were shots, there were scenes with the guys that were arrested by the guys that arrested them in the same scene, playing out the scene that they lived.
Yeah. What's interesting is to think that originally they were going to go for a more of a futuristic setting of a New York City. They wanted to do more futuristic, which I'm glad looking at in retrospect. I'm glad they did. I'm glad they kept at the way it looks, because I don't see this working as well with a futuristic New York City. And the reason why, you want to know why they were worried about a futuristic saying? They thought it was actually, of all things, going to be comparable to Star Wars. How that correlation happened, I don't know, but it did happen.
Would not work.
No, it would not work. So, anyways, this is a good segue into the Yeti cast, sir. Talk about the first time you saw the Wars and where it stood in your life.
Oh God, it was a long time ago. I don't remember the exact first time I saw it. I just know everybody remembers a couple lines from it. Like those are so unforgettable.
Oh you mean like that? What are you going? You know, at the beginning, Ajax is line. What are you going?
There's a lot of language you can't use these days anymore. Yep.
You know, if you take out a couple of those lines, I don't think you would get rated R. Like there's a couple, you know, kind of toxic lines. You take those out, and it doesn't stand out as this like horrifying film. You know, lots of stuff is you know, kind of tame. Like they just got some knives and beer bottles, and you know, there's a few fights. There's no blood. Like it always cuts away.
Well, a little bit, but not much. Yeah, not much. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's just probably the subject matter and like the movie last week that got Jackie Chan's movie, Rumble in the Bronx. Yeah, that we were kind of surprised why that was rated R too. That was kind of weird.
No, I get it. Asians.
Oh
But
my God. Go ahead,
the
Ed.
one thing that always throws me off with this movie is like, could they not come up with some better uniforms for the other gangs? Like you see them at the beginning, you're like, okay, those guys do not scare me. Come on,
That's because you don't know, bro. You're Canadian. You don't get
There was
it.
a sequence band in purple and sparkles. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna care if those guys try to like mug me. I'm gonna
hold on
laugh.
now.
If they ask for my wallet.
Nick, you know I hate when the Mad Barber Boys take over your show, but give me a second because I got to school
Have
them.
it. This is all
Let me
you.
tell you something, Yeti. Listen, when you're fighting a gang, right? And you're like, oh, we're gang fighting. Yeah, touch me there. Whatever you do in gang fights, right? And the other gang is wearing like sequins or like bedazzlement, like bedazzled like jackets and shit. You're gonna get blinded because the light's gonna reflect. Oh, my eyes. Oh no, now I got a finger in my bum. That's what happens when you bedazzle shit.
So
dude.
it's an extra
so
like
dangerous.
level of danger. The
Yes.
bedazzling.
Yes.
Oh, see, I
That's the
didn't realize
science.
that. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
There's
you
the
know.
lighting, yeah.
It's
like a
the lighting
never
thing.
wore
Yeah,
bedazzled.
Light trick.
Come on, bro. You ever bedazzled?
clearly I haven't.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but speaking on the costumes, like I was watching it since I watched it for the first time today, and I'm sitting here like, why are those dudes dressed up like baseball players with face paint? And I mean, some of it's like
That was
so
awesome.
over that. Like I know what they're trying to do,
That
but
was
at the same
awesome.
time, it's like I know that that's not what gangs looks like in New York. The
No.
Warriors, the Warriors totally would probably work, but like
Yeah, I bought them. Yeah.
Hold on. I know a little behind the scenes info on the baseball guys. I forgot what they're called. But-
Furies.
yeah, the Furies.
Baseball
Thank you.
Furies.
right.
Yeah.
Furious.
They
They're
were so
awesome.
furious and so and so like intimidating. They had to put music over their scenes because the director thought it would be too much and too gritty and too like if they didn't have music over it. That's
I mean,
how
there is
awesome
a-
they were.
there's a level of creepiness to it. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not total intimidation, but the intimidation factor comes from like, wait, did these dudes just escape from somewhere?
Mhm.
Dude,
Not
were
like
they
they go
also
to this
mimes?
neighborhood?
Because I don't know if they talked at all.
No, that was a different gang. There was another gang of mines, but yeah, the Furies didn't
Yeah,
talk
there
either.
was
But
there was a whole bunch of weird gangs.
Yeah, if 10 of those guys dressed like that with baseball bats meet you in a dark alley, you're going to be shitting your pants.
Was this before
Come
or
on, dressed
after
up like that.
A Clockwork Orange? Because they
This is
do,
after.
they're
This is
reminiscent of
after,
that.
Yeah, this is after.
Okay.
Yeah. But-
You know, I'm betting that gang was inspired by A Clockwork Orange.
by the way, very diverse in these gangs, like a lot.
Dude,
of
these
diversity.
gangs were
Yeah.
very progressive, like super. I mean, and then
And
look, who,
no women.
look who's
thank
the
God.
man. Look who's the man leading the speech. Good old Cyrus here with his "Can you dig it?" It reminds me of when I was watching WCW back in the day, and Booker T would come
Booker
out
T.
at the entrance. Yeah, can
Yeah.
you dig it, dig it, dig it, sucker? And I'm like, and then all of a sudden, I watched this movie around, I'd say 6th grade, with a bunch of dudes eating pizza. And I'm like, that's where he got that line from. I was like, oh my God, my life has been an entire lie for
Wait.
2 whole years.
Didn't you have this? Didn't you have this happen the other day too?
Yes,
with
Chris
Jericho.
Yes. Yes, with Chris Jericho.
The veil has been lifted from your eyes. That wrestlers have stolen shit they've seen on movies.
Yes. It's seriously, it's just like, oh, hey, that looks well. Let's not forget. Obviously, Sting did it too with the Crow with
Yeah,
his
right.
look. So, like, yeah,
That was a little on the nose.
Oh, I know. It's like that was the WCW way. What was good in a popular movie? Take that and run with it.
No shit. They had Sub-Zero. Remember
Oh yeah, they
Glacier?
did. I
Yo,
remember.
they had Kiss. They had the demon guy from Kiss, right?
Yes,
Oh, then they had
And
Master
Raiden.
P. Hold on. No,
Reptile.
They had Master P and like the No Limit Soldiers were a gang, not a gang. Well, they were, but like a clique in WCW for a little bit too. They had wrestlers from No Limit Soldiers there too.
Mhm.
Holy shit, WCW really did just take everything.
Man, I thought you were talking about Mortal Kombat there because you had Reptile and Raiden and because Raiden's one of the main guys in this show.
We're talking about WCW.
Yeah, I know. I got that afterwards when you said WCW. But okay, one thing I got to point out is the more we watch these older movies, the more you realize Hollywood's thing of lack of diversity is such bullshit.
Mhm.
Like, you got a prominent black man who's bringing the entire community together.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Trying to
doesn't.
call
You know,
for
it's a bunch of gangs, but
Yeah.
still, he's bringing them all. What he said, 20,000 people in all the gangs, and they're all diverse. It's not just, they're not pointing fingers or anything, but he's a leader, inspiring them to come together. I mean, it is to rob everyone, but he is inspiring them.
But I
Well, yeah,
got
it's
to
pretty
think about that
subversive,
too.
yeah.
It's diverse, but they didn't think that through all the way. I mean, you think like there had to be gang task force back then, right? And they're all like 20,000 kids or 10,000 kids coming together, 10,000 gang members meeting in one spot in the Bronx, New York. Then no gang task force people knew about this. I mean, obviously the cops show up towards the end of the rally, but like to me, I'm like everybody's meeting up. I'm like, this is a setup.
Well,
They're all
so
about to get pinched.
Oh yeah,
law,
right.
law enforcement was done very differently back then.
Well,
Like this was
and-
before the renewed focus on gang activity. By the way, kids, I feel like that's kind of a stretch because most of them look like they're in their 40s, but it's Hollywood. And that's what we do.
The Hollywood
but-
version of the 20s.
I think what
Yes.
Yeti's saying is that Cyrus is like the MLK of street gangs.
He kind of was, and then he was
Yeah.
shot, like he was straight up assassinated.
But he's
Yeah.
actually more like Malcolm X than
Get your hand out my pocket.
yes.
Sorry.
All right, real quick. Ironcaster for $2. What would the panel's gang themes be? That's a good question. Thank you, Ironcaster, for
Oh, yeah.
$2. Mad, why don't you answer this one?
What's that?
The Lizzies?
Say it.
What would
the
the
Lizzie?
panel's gang themes be?
Dragon Sound.
Yeah, definitely had to. Well, no, like Matt Barber Boys. We're already
Yeah.
basically a gang.
Yeah,
A
dressed
gang
as
of-
Dragon Sound,
Yes.
right?
Oh, yeah,
All
yeah, yeah.
right.
Dragon Sound.
Dragon
Greatest
Sound. All
new-
right.
Greatest new wave cinematic band of all time. Fight me.
All right, Raquel, what would your gang theme be?
Cats, I guess.
Cats? Okay.
So you're the ones that get killed immediately.
I
They're
guess.
agile. They'll claw you.
Yeah, we have claws. Don't don't mess with us.
We know Taekwondo.
Taekwondo. So
All right, Mark D.
We'll grab your
would
nose
gang
with our-
theme.
We'll,
Well, I
we'll
thought-
grab
I
your
thought-
nose with our feet.
I thought Matt was going to say the Lizzies, but
What?
that was probably
Gross.
his that was probably his favorite part of the movie. But God, what would our Toxic Tuesday? God, I don't know. I didn't think about it enough, but off the top of my head, yeah, I'm not sure what. Oh crap, what would we be? We got to be something heavy metal on.
Wait, all
on Tuesday,
together?
right? Yeah, we.
Because I
have to start again, right?
immediately broke us up into factions like we were going to go
Yeah.
at it.
Oh, I thought that's what we were going. I didn't think we were
thought
together in
too.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to
I-
kill each other.
Right? Yeti and I are like, oh, Mad Barber Boys for life.
Yeah.
Where's Grant?
So we
We'll bring
are
in
going to
him.
advantage 2 on like
Yeah.
you guys. So like I'm in, and I know
Math
he
is
can
not-
fight.
By the way, the math is not the strongest subject in Canada. Clearly, he's like the 2 versus the rest.
Well, I don't know if they're going to group together. Because you got Mark C and Nick Waz. They might be in a team, but
So yeah,
they might be individuals too. So I wasn't sure.
it's okay. Mark, what would it be? Do you know or not know?
Oh God, it's got to be something with heavy metal. I mean, what's a really toxic heavy metal band name? I mean,
Motorhead.
like we. Yeah, but we would be like, well, Nick would be the leader. We'd be
Or-
Motorhead, right?
Like
We'd be
Burn.
Motorhead, right? Yeah.
Motorhead.
We'd be Motorhead.
He's the
right?
Lemmys.
And I try to
We'd
grow
be-
my hair out,
or-
even though I don't have any.
We'd be
left,
the
yeah.
Motorhead delivery boys. We'd be delivering pizzas. We look like Motorhead. We deliver pizzas. There
I
you
mean,
go.
I-
There's our faction.
Got to get some tattoos and grow our hair out and
Yes.
grow the mustache out. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God, Mark with the
Dustin.
mustache. Yes. I love
Dustin's got
it.
the awesome beard going, so he's halfway there. Mad's got the look going. Yep.
All right.
not
you
Mad
see-
Barber Boy for
all
life.
right. So you realize, guys, we got a tiebreaker here. We got Mark and Raquel's kind of on her own little thing. Dustin, you gonna join one of the gangs, or are you gonna do your own little thing?
I thought we were missing the elephant in the room here. I thought we'd be the Toxic Boys.
Oh, the Toxic
There you go.
Boys. Oh,
That's a
I
good
guess
one.
there's our RC here. Nick would be the leader of the Calzone crew.
Wait, is that
The toxic.
the Toxic Boys would be like if like the Mad Barber Boys like joined forces with Toxic Tuesday to form like a super band or like a super gang.
Dude, the Killmeisters. I see what you did there, Serta. Beautiful. Beautiful. Balls to the
Calzone
wall,
crew.
except that could be one of our songs. Balls to the wall, except or Dark Skip is right. The Mob Rules, Dio Era Sabbath. I would love that, man. Woo! Hey, 70 says, sorry I can't be with you tonight. Discuss why. Oh, yes, we saw the comment right when the stream started, sir. Hopefully you're enjoying your time in Texas. And make sure you eat a breakfast quesadilla for me. Chorizo.
What?
They're really good.
Oh,
In-N-Out
no, no, no.
Quesadilla. Yeah,
Yes.
eat chorizo and egg for sure.
You get
I hope he has a miserable time for ditching us. That's what I hope. I don't have you have a good time. No.
I would say go for the hot dogs and the nachos, cheese. Those are good.
You need to get
Yes.
some carne asada.
Oh, carne asada is good. Yes. All right. No, these are all good points taken.
Oh, we should talk about
Oh,
this
yeah,
actor
whatever.
too. That Fox, who got himself killed in the middle of filming because he was such an a-hole to the director. Did you guys read about that? Or
No.
No.
So-
I did not. Tell us, Mark.
Oh yeah. So the actor, he's a famous actor now, and he's part of the actor studio in New York.
Mhm.
And it was one of his first roles, and he was just fighting with the director all the time and being just a real dick about everything and arguing about every aspect of production, and just then he was doing coke. It was the 70s too, so it was just
everybody's doing coke.
everyone was doing coke.
That's
but he
why
was
the
being
movie
he
is
was-
better.
Yeah, but he was just it was Thomas G. Waits, and he was but he said years later he apologized, and he's like he teaches acting now, and he was totally coked up and an asshole. So the director just got so frustrated with him. He said, "We're gonna kill this motherfucker off." And the stunt guys are like, "Well, wait, we got to plan this out. How are we gonna do this?" So the scene where he gets thrown in front of the train, which is about an hour into the movie, they just grabbed the stunt guy and said, "Just plan. I don't care how you do it. Just kill this goddamn bastard off." And so they grabbed a guy that kind of looked like him and put the Warriors jacket on him and threw him in front of the train to get rid of him. And then they asked him, what do you want to be credited with the movie? And he said, "No, I don't want to be. I don't want to have my name in the movie." Now he regrets it that he wasn't on the movie. Yeah, so he was an up and coming actor in Hollywood, and he thought he was bigger than you think you're big tough shit, and then he years later he's been on a ton of great movies and done a lot of acting, but he said back then he apologized. He said I was just a real real jerk, and and so the director, it's great. He just, the guy was a nobody back then. He'd been in, 2 movies before this. So he's like, just kill him off. So he's not credited in the movie as Fox. So that's why his name never appears. So
Yeah, I thought that was weird because like they killed him off, and then none of the crew were like, "Where's he at?"
yeah,
No one was like, nobody. They were like, "Well, he's gone. Fuck him."
yeah,
And this right here is the part where everything takes off from here, because he accuses them of the thing he did. He did gaslighting before gaslighting was basically coined a term.
yeah.
Dude, is that Justin Trudeau on the other side?
Oh God.
Cool. No, take a look. That looks kind of like him. I'm just saying.
It's Sully. It's Sully, right?
So I remember I was
I
going to
promise
do
I-
last.
Of course, I kill you last.
But you notice they immediately blamed the one black guy they saw. Like,
Yeah, no, he totally did. No, he totally did. It's your fault. I was like, okay, this guy's got.
Yeah.
he was kind of a badass though in the fights. Like, he knew what he was doing.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that was-
totally.
that was
Luther,
awesome, yeah.
no, Luther as well. At times, I had to remind myself it wasn't Sean Penn younger, because at certain
does
scenes
look like Sean Penn, right?
he looks like Sean Penn when he was in Fast Times at
Yeah.
Ridgemont High, except with longer hair and more scruffy. So at times, I had to remind myself this is not Sean Penn. And I remember because I was discovering movies like that right around the time I discovered The Warriors, and I remember like what really makes the movie stand out more, like, especially nowadays, is nowadays when a movie is dark and serious, it's the movie has to look completely dark where the colors are super muted. This movie is actually very colorful, but yet it's such a dark movie. And I love that
Yeah.
aspect. That's very colorful. And
Yeah,
it's still
especially
very
with the
intense
gangs,
and
yeah.
serious. Yeah, it's still intense and dark. And yet you're like, holy crap. It doesn't feel like, the
Yeah.
stakes are like any less. It's just like, because you see all these colors and it still feels like a high stakes, free for added flick. And nowadays they think, oh, dark means everything needs to be freaking super colorless, which is like, man,
Yeah.
you can do that and it still works. And this obviously was the proof in the pudding on that.
No, yeah, it's filmed at night, but you're 100% right. Yeah, all the colors and the graffiti and the lights, the way they did the lighting, and those subway trains coming into the tracks, how they're showing those subway trains rolling through the tunnels, and then the new version too, where they added all the artwork and the comic book panels is really cool too. So there's a lot of ambiance and you get the atmosphere too. It's really, because it's real. It's not green screen CGI bullshit. This is all real. And as people in the chat were saying before, they hired a lot of the neighborhood people and they hired undercover detectives.
Which gang was the gang by name that was hired to help with this? The Mongrels.
I didn't, I was reading some of the stuff on the movie. I forgot the name, but I know I was reading. Yeah, they
Mongrels.
did. Yeah, and they hired a bunch of people, and you got to pay people off. Not to. Yeah, it was RC. Yeah, so I'd mentioned that. Yeah, so
thank you, RC.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean they had to use a lot of the neighborhood people to get stuff done. It's like whenever you go somewhere, you got to grease the right treads, right? Especially things are so different in the city now. I mean, it's bad. As bad as things are maybe getting. It's nothing like the 70s. I mean, the 70s, it was just, living through that and growing up through it. It was a suburb of New York, so I wasn't there, but you go into the city, you go to a Yankee game in the Bronx, you drive through and just the place was a freaking nightmare. And the famous movie Fort Apache, the Bronx with Paul Newman was out about that time. And yeah, it was just the city had gone bankrupt. It was going to hell. I mean, it was like, you had Jimmy Carter, you had inflate. Well, that was 40 years ago. Now we're having that inflation again. But think of it, the interest rates were 18% at one point in the 70s, 20%. So my dad went to get a loan at the bank, and they said, he's like, well, the mafia charges that much. He's like, yeah, but if you don't pay, we just take your house. We don't break your legs and kill you. My dad's like, well, you got a good point there.
I know. I'd take the broken legs over losing the house.
well and more than the broken legs too, but yeah. And but I mean,
juice.
Yeah, but yeah, if you don't pay, yeah, it's not, you're gonna land in that cemetery. But yeah, it's the city was just and it really captures that look too. I mean, everyone was so, it was a depressing time too. It was just, people weren't sure if New York City was gonna last. So it was
definitely
this
not
movie
a tourist-friendly movie. I mean, you don't watch this movie and go, "Man, I want to go to New York."
That's true, Dustin. No, Dustin, you are right. You watch because it's like the only people who exist in the area are the gangs themselves.
Yeah,
It's like,
this might I don't know, be a little too toxic to bring up, but the ironic thing about all this is the person that really brought around New York was Donald Trump. He started building those high-rise penthouses, and that brought in new money and new people, and it really changed the city.
are you saying like the uppity type of thing? Are you trying?
Well, he also did the Woolman rink in New York that in the
There was-
70s they couldn't fix the rink, and it was over, the pricing, they spent millions and millions, and Trump came in with his group and he fixed the rink under cost, and that got him a lot of publicity back then. And then
There was a
like
lot.
you're saying, then he started building, he had a good start from his dad, but he helped to revitalize the city in terms of building some great buildings. And when Giuliani came in too, that was when it changed after Mayor Dinkins. One of the big things that happened when they had after the U.S. Open, there was a mugging on the platform right there, and one of the kids was defending his mom, and he got killed right on the subway platform there. And I think that was like one of the last straws. And so Mayor Dinkins got voted out, and Giuliani came in with Bratton, and they had the no broken windows. So if you jumped the turnstiles like you're doing in the Warriors. You're getting, they went after everyone. So we're kind of seeing that revert now where they're, letting everything go.
But there's in the beginning when they're all on their way to the big meeting, everybody's getting change and paying to get on the subway.
Yeah, that's true. I guess they didn't want to start. They were supposed to go there peacefully, not cause trouble. But today now, if you jump the turnstiles, they can't do anything to you. So we're going back to that. But the city was really a wreck. Wreck back every night was how many people got murdered, and think of it, 2,200 people got murdered in 1 year in New York City. So
that's brutal. Before we before we go on to this next one. Deleted scenes coming out for $1.99. Says, "Hail Nick, panel and chat. Solely died last after all." Thank you, deleted scenes, for the $1.99. I appreciate that fancy little number or two pair. Appreciate it. Thank you, dude. I remember seeing this group here. I'm like, whoa, this group. I like how it says on the wall "riffs," and then I remember when I saw that in middle school. I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's about like guitar, because anytime I see the word riffs, I think guitars.
So, is everyone okay there?
Yeah, I'll just say, what was that?
You okay, Matt?
What happened?
I think that's Yeti.
That wasn't me. No,
that was
I'm sitting still. That was Mad.
What did I do?
Went all toxic. Bullshit. Rewind it. I was fine.
Oh no, we're good, man. We don't need to dwell.
My goodness, Yeti.
You don't try and blame this on me.
Read the private chat.
Oh my god.
And in February,
God.
February 13th, 1979.
All right, go on, Dustin.
In February 13th, 1979, the Guardian Angels of New York City were founded as a nonprofit international volunteer organization of unarmed crime prevention.
Guess what?
That's Curtis Lewa's group, who just ran for mayor of New York, and he had a radio show for years on WABC and then WOR. And he was kind of like a street vigilante without the weapons. And they wear red berets, and they got people to go all around the city, kind of like the Boy Scouts or like, a club. And they would, just be there on the trains, and they had radios and report things.
It would be better
just to try to take the city back and report crime. So, it was Bernie Getz, if anyone remembers the story of Bernie Getz.
The subway vigilante.
Subway vigilante, yeah. So,
by the way, it would be better. It'd be better if those berets were raspberry.
It sounds like Batman.
Get it? Raspberry beret. Raspberry beret.
So so it was people were just so fed up with the level of crime that they were see, it was Dustin was saying, started the Guardian Angels just because it wasn't safe just to ride the subway anymore. And you look at all the graffiti. There's almost no graffiti in the subway anymore. So
wait, can you go back a couple? What's the name of this gang?
The Ace Ventura gang. That's what I thought about. With the Hawaiian shirts. I thought the Ace Ventura gang.
The hula hula.
Yeah, I call them
the Kahlua.
The Kahlua. What the fuck, man?
Because there was like that one gang that had like the black tank tops with the white outline, and I'm like, how do these people in like they're so impoverished, but they can all dress the same?
This is what happens in a oversaturated marketplace, right? You start running out of ideas. So you're like, quick, what can our gang do? I know Hawaiian shirts. Quick. Oh, we're Cubans. No, I'm a Puerto Rican. Where are you going to wear this hat anyways and pretend you're Cuban? Because we're running out of ideas.
Well, they had the orphans, and what their outfit was dressing dirty and having dust piles swirling their heads as they
again, man, when it's when there's too many like gangs in a marketplace, like this is what happens. You start running out of ideas.
And that dude in the subway wearing the overalls on the roller skates, I'm like, just push him down.
I think this movie is a great allegory for the Texas oil boom in the early 1900s, before we had the wildcatter laws, because you had all these wildcatters out there and they were sucking up all the oil to where the barrel itself was worth more than the oil in the barrel. And that's when you get the whole, I drink your milkshake thing. When all that, because there had to come in regulations so that the oil would actually be worth something because there were so many wildcatters. And I
You
think this is
just
a great
read that
allegory for
yesterday and you want an excuse to tell this story. So you applied it to this
I've known that
movie,
for
which has
years
no
'cause it
bearing.
happened. Bullshit! It happened in East Texas. I've known that for years. I grew up in East Texas.
Bullshit. You read that yesterday. Like, oh my God, this is so interesting. I
Did
got to
not
find
read it
some way to
yesterday.
share this info.
It works perfectly with the Warriors, mother.
So if they
Sure.
made this movie today, there'd be gangs like dressed as like furries, not the Furies, but furries.
Oh, I wish we had the modern day Furies because they were obviously the gang that was inspired by Kiss, obviously.
And that group, the furries, that would commit a lot of microaggressions against all the other gangs.
Yeah.
I really hope there'd be a gang of like Canadians in like
Gross. Why?
the plaid tuxedos
Yeah,
where like carry
no.
around hockey sticks.
It's denim.
And they throw-
Denim.
Yeah,
they throw
they
maple
would dress
syrup.
like Jay Leno.
They
And they'll
light
be
the
like,
maple
"Oh."
syrup on fire and throw it
They'll
at
be
you.
like, oh, no, they wouldn't. Oh, sorry.
be really
He's
polite.
sorry. Yeah, sorry, meat.
Sorry.
Yeah,
You
they'd
get
say
my-
sorry as they're dumping hot
Sorry.
maple syrup to like scald you.
Oh, I didn't
Would
mean
they,
to get
would
my
they
maple
bring their
syrup on you.
bigs?
See?
Their bigs of
Soy
maple syrup.
Bowery boys. Oh, the Soy Bowery boys. Oh, all the games have to be rich. They already were.
They
Iron
were, yeah,
Cast, so
yeah.
They were. This movie was 89, 99, 19, 42 years ahead of its time with already being diverse, organically diverse.
But
and
all of
and
these
once
movies
again,
are.
and it was Rockstar who put out the game. I remember now it was Rockstar who put it out. That was Rockstar was coming in hot because obviously they were known for the Grand Theft Auto franchise, especially because of 3, which launched them into the stratosphere. They put out a Warriors game, and
Why
I
haven't
remember
they done
Bought out by a
another
big
one?
company yet?
Well, was the game? I mean, Matt, maybe you would know. Was it after the movie or was it during the movie, like side missions, or did it take place before it?
Gosh, this is something I should have looked up before I started talking about how I played the game because I do not remember. I remember you were in a house and you had weapons.
Baseball
Okay.
bats, yeah.
Yeah.
Knives,
But
yeah.
I do. Okay, yeah. Bounce out after this. After
If you
what,
need to
Yeti-
go get your cookies.
after Yeti accused me of lies. Yeah,
I have heard you
What
say
of it?
multiple lies,
When?
just screaming
When?
things to your girlfriend about me that would never happen. Literally, like you thought you were muted, and you get up, and you're like, "Hey, Yeti's talking shit about you." I didn't say a single
He wasn't
word.
muted. He was doing that on purpose.
That didn't happen. Anyway, so I got cookies fresh out the oven. I got a velvet
nice.
peanut butter cookie, and I didn't make any of these. They all come from BJ's Brew House. And I got a peanut butter.
Velvet cookies? Cookies? That
Why do
sounds
you have to
very feminine.
leave? Just take them out of the oven and let them cool.
Well, because unlike Mark, I'm going to spend time with my significant other.
Oh my god!
It's her birthday month.
Birthday month.
That's why the
Yeah.
velvet cookies, yeah.
I did start this whole birthday month thing when we first started dating or whatever. Like all of
What a
August, I'm like, but
mistake.
it's
That's
my
a mistake.
But it's
That's
my
a
birthday
mistake.
month. Well, luckily hers is February, so it's not as many days. So fuck off. And so I don't have to
Leap
do
year,
nearly
yeah.
as much. Yeah,
Oh
but
my
her
God.
thing is like watching scary movies. Watched Malignant. It was something. It was
All right.
something if you haven't seen it. But
Well, I've got a bunch of
thumbs up from that, yeah.
recommendations I could give you,
no, that's all right, dude.
but still,
not
you know.
For
Oh,
gifts
you
for
don't
the
like scary
birthday
movies,
month or
do
for
you?
I
movies?
do not know. I don't like scary
Oh.
movies.
Okay, well,
Not a fan.
Mad's girlfriend, hit me up. I'll give you some good ones to terrify him.
All right, guys. Hey, I'll try to be back before you guys end.
You'll be
But,
back. You'll be
Yeah,
back.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you
There
don't
you
want to
go.
spend that much time with her, right?
Oh God, no.
There you go. That's my boy. All
All
right.
bye, guys.
I love how much running these guys do. Their legs and feet must have been killing them. After
They had
were done
cardio
wrapping
like
the
a
movie.
motherfucker, dude. I was like, man, I'd be winded like a half block. I'm like, well, I'm done.
Yeah, those guys are all in good shape, yeah, because they're hustling on those streets.
Well,
yeah.
well,
You
this
didn't
was
see
like
any fat
the
people.
70s before fast food, so
Yeah.
they're all in good shape because of that.
Well, you did have fast food, I gotta say, but these
Yeah,
guys,
fast food came out in the 50s,
yeah,
but
you
they
did fast
could.
food,
They
but
were
yeah.
poor and they couldn't afford fast food.
Yeah, and you had to hustle, yeah. So, like, you remember when they redid, had Robert De Niro de-aged him? It's like, he was trying to move around, and God bless him, but he looks so old. And the Irishman, it's like, these guys they're running and they're hauling ass. I mean, they're all in great shape, and it's pretty scary. When you're watching this too, like in the middle of the night, like I did the first time, it was a much scarier movie. And you're 10-year-old kid too, but yeah, it was pretty scary watching this the first time, and you don't think they're gonna make it, and then people start dropping too. So when Fox gets thrown in front of the train, you're like, oh shit, maybe they won't, maybe most of them will gonna die. So I'll ignore this unknown person in the chat. We'll ignore him. Yep. But yeah, low spec. Yeah, we had McDonald's in the 70s. Yeah, we had chicken nuggets came out in the 80s. Yeah,
Okay, but they still
1983
had
chicken nuggets.
yeah.
they still had better ingredients.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
agree
it
with
was
that, yeah.
higher quality food.
Dude.
Yeah, but when you're the thing is when you're poor in the city like this, yeah, they're
Dude,
probably not
well,
getting over. Yeah,
look at this piece of knowledge here. The scene where the subway service stopped because of a fire was an actual storefront fire that took place, and they changed the storyline. Wow, RC coming in
thank you.
Yeah.
red
Yeah,
hot with that, dude. That's some knowledge there, man.
Yeah, and
Dropping
that
the
worked good for the
bombs
story
there.
too. That was a good plot point too, because the guys are like, well, maybe who set the fire? Who they know we're on this train, so that was a good plot point. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, the writing's pretty tight in this movie, and if you read the original, if you know the original story and history, that these guys that they're the Greeks that they're the army that this is very very loosely based on. Spent I think almost like a year trying to get back. They had gone to they were helping. They were an army of I think 10,000, and they were trying to overturn the older brother or younger brother of a king. And they traveled, and then the king, the king that was going to usurp the throne, got killed en route. So they're like, well, there's no point in going on. And then they were totally surrounded, and they had to escape back to to their home country. And it took I think almost like a year for them to get back back home. So it's a tale of I'll put the link in again. It's
No, by all means, do that.
it's Anabasis. I'm probably not pronouncing it right, but it's composed 370 BC, and so it narrates the expedition of a large Greek army of mercenaries hired by Cyrus the Younger to help him seize the throne of Persia from his brother. I can't pronounce this. Artaxerxes II in 401 BC. So it's considered one. So they traveled. It's called the March of 10,000. The narration of the army's journey across Asia Minor and Mesopotamia is Xenophon's best-known work and one of the greatest adventures in human history. So it's it's based on a classic tale, but that shows how these timeless things that they translate, and it's, you never know this watching this movie. Who the hell would know that this, but it's an amazing this is a timeless story that the underdogs and overwhelming force, kind of like the 300, that translates so well, and in the setting here, the subway in New York City was just perfect. I mean,
Well said, Mark. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
No, thank you, man. That was badass. So I got a question for the chat, and I'm gonna give the chat the benefit of the doubt to not look it up on DuckDuckGo or Google or Brave or whatever. What competing gang movie was coming out around the time that The Warriors was coming out? No one. I don't want anyone on the panel saying if they know, but I like to know if anyone in the chat knows. I have a feeling a few people might know, but there's another gang theme movie that came out around the time. So I'm like to see who would know in the chat. If you don't know, well, I'll give you guys like about one minute. Just Grease, Grease.
Grease. and that's why this movie was so. That's awesome. That's why this movie was so rushed too. Was one of the reasons. And I forget the name of the movie too. And I was reading up on this, but that's a great question. And then they were rushing this movie out to beat that other movie, because they knew another gang movie was happening. So
Rumblefish, RC
Rumblefish.
says Escape from NY. So I'm just gonna say so far no one has gotten it. I can see why you guys all chose those. I really do. But yeah, it was none of those. And no, it's not The Outsiders. Grease 2, The Greasening. No, you guys.
Grease 2 was horrible disease. Oh,
no,
God.
not The Outsiders, David Serto. You guys are really
That's a good guess. Though. That's a good guess.
No,
yeah.
It's a very good guess. Yeah, three.
Grease
yeah.
2, yeah. That was Michelle Pfeiffer's one of her first movies, I think. Wasn't it? Grease 2, yeah.
Commenting is dangerous. Probably Rule Suit. I will set up the Get Cash app, and once I do, you will know. You will know. And Lindsay's like, I spied Ajax. Yeah, Ajax was probably the most toxic one in the group. He's like the Mad Mardigan of the group.
Yep.
He's definitely the Mad Mardigan of the group. Matt's probably listening like, I'm not Ajax. Oh, you're Ajax, dude. Oh, deleted scenes got it. The Wanderers. There you go.
For the
Deleted
win.
scenes with the win. All right, there you go, guys. And deleted scenes with the answer. Well, I guess we'll give him a Thanos clip for getting it right because I don't have any
Nice.
other. There you go. There you go, delete scenes, and there's our winner. Ding, 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 ding. So yeah, this was like when the movie is coming out too. Like, they did not have a long time to like give it a big box office like mainstay, because there was a lot of concern at the time, and I'm sure it was not just exclusive to New York City, but Chicago, of course, gang violence. So the last thing they want is for a movie like this to be prominent during an age of gang violence, and now he got a movie succeeding gang violence. So it was just like, we gotta get this thing out of here. Come on, guys! Don't let this be the thing. So yeah, it was. I guess you could say that was problematic before the word problematic was a modern buzzword the way it is nowadays.
No, yeah, and this movie, like I was saying before, they wanted to ban this, or and there were a lot of shootings and a couple of shootings that happened, and a lot of gang violence. So Paramount actually agreed to pay for security and let theaters not show the movie if they didn't want to, because sometimes you had to show a movie. And then after a few weeks, the violence went down, and it did pretty well. It wasn't a huge. I think obviously became a cult classic later, but it. I think it made like 20, 25 million. So it definitely made its money back. Mm-hmm. But all the gang members loved going to see the movie. So when the director was saying, yeah, all these gangs are in the theater, and they're looking at people, and they're like, oh, I hate your guts. And then, fights would start, just like a turf battle would start out, happening in the movie theater. So, yeah, but, and thinking like the beginning too, where the guys, Cyrus is talking about unifying the gangs and starting an army, and, a lot of people don't want to hear that, kind of stuff too. They're saying, the man keeps us down. We're fighting for just our little piece of turf. It's all our turf. So that was a really good opening speech. The Can You Dig It? It was just awesome. So it's too bad Mad's not here for this part.
No, right? I know, right? This
when she just, yeah.
She lays it on him. Yeah, no, it's true. And yeah, Lindsay says, yeah, she's criminally because of strong female character. Yeah, she hung with the boys, man. She hung with them, man. I see your question. Wasn't Fox supposed to be like the romantic interest for Mercy? I think something about ended up being I'm forgetting what Swan. Ended up being Swan instead. Yeah, it ended up being Swan instead. So I think that's what it was. Nick wants to give it. Nah, dude, man, I'm good. Honest, I'm good. So, but you guys are nuts. You guys are nuts.
As I suspected, 32.
Forgive me, guys. I totally boomered that. I have been up since, a long time today. But the Jack of all casuals for $5 says, working tonight. We'll watch the replay. I have one question, though. Can you dig it? Yes, Jack, I can. I'm sure everyone on the panel who's here with me does agree that they can dig it. Does anyone want to object to digging it?
No.
Oh, no. I can dig it.
Oh, so yeah,
we can all dig it.
There you go. There you go. Thank you for the 5, Jack of all casuals. Appreciate that, man. Hope you're well. And Darren's like, yes, we can dig it. See, it's already been dug. It's already been dug.
So, do you know who was a big fan of this movie?
Who?
Ronald Reagan.
Really?
He even screened it. He called Michael Beck to tell him that he had screened it at Camp David and enjoyed it.
Nice.
What the? Hold on. I didn't.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie. It's just he's just not the type of guy I'd imagine like in this.
Well,
movie.
He's one of those Hollywood actor types, right? So
yeah, no, that's true. Obviously, he's an actor. It's just something I didn't piece together.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, my mind's kind of blown.
That's pretty cool.
Dude, I love
President
this.
had
He
good,
just
good taste, Reagan. Yeah.
Yeah, no. This is how you deflect off an air game when you need to get away. You torch it up, you throw it to a vehicle, and then they're like, "Oh shit, I gotta get away from these crazy guys." Oh dude, oh my god, I'm trying to think of what was that line he says to her? Oh, maybe I'll put a chain on you. You might even like it. That's what he says to her right around this point. I was just like, Jesus, so toxic. And that line, dude, the pitchforks would be out like a son of a bitch nowadays if that line came out. But however, if they had the Batwoman type of character, she'd probably be saying that to some soy guy in like some college class about some studies class. So that's how it would happen in the modernized version nowadays if that had come out.
Well, that orphans gang too. It's like they were gonna let the Warriors go through, and then Mercy, she's totally toxic, and she tells her guys like basically you're a bunch of wimps, you can't let these guys go through, and then finally the guys like, all right, take your collars off.
Oh yeah, she causes them to like to chase them to completely change their minds.
Yeah, and then they're gonna attack, and the serious stuff too. It's like they pull out their knives and they're gonna go after him, and then of course the one thing I thought was crazy, and then they kind of just like take her in on the train. It's like you almost just got us killed. It's like now you're gonna switch over to the Warriors, but it was kind of a little bit too quick there. But I guess pretty ladies have a way of maybe influencing guys there, right? But
yeah, she legit got in their heads too because they weren't invited to that gang summit.
Yeah.
So they didn't even know that
that
Cyrus had been killed. Catch, yeah. So they weren't trying to fuck with them to kill them to get back for Cyrus. They were just getting onto him for coming through their turf.
Yeah, that was a good point. Yeah, and then the riffs too later, they're like, oh, well, the DJ was always announcing everything. It was really real cool. I don't know if we've mentioned her yet, but they were using the radio back then because there was no Twitter to send messages with
I know,
with
right?
all the music, which was awesome.
Yeah, because with her, all you got to do is say is where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Speaking of, hey, that's a good segue. Hungry for Common Sense with speaking of the magnificent music. I like how it's kind of like it felt like a very mysterious vibe when they showed the ladies lip speaking, and then you see the record player go, and she said this one goes out to the Warriors. You're like, ooh, who's this? Like, this is really because she's laying out messages through music. I'm like, I remember thinking, whoa, that's really heavy, cool. Man. Yeah, it was really, hide. Yeah, I'm like, this is really mysterious. Like, I loved it, and you never see her. You never see her face the entire movie. And I think who was it? Joe Walsh was the composer. I think Joe Walsh was the main composer.
We did this in the city at the end.
At this, okay.
That's the song at the end. I don't know who did the soundtrack.
Yeah. So at the end, they was supposed to go black, and it was supposed to be black for 3 minutes while that Joe Walsh song played.
Mm-hmm.
So it was supposed to go. The movie's just going to go black. That song would play, and then the credits would roll.
And I know, obviously, sometimes there are some similarities in the soundtracks of the movies in the late 70s and early 80s. Obviously, there's some exceptions, but they kind of like a B movie horror soundtrack at times.
It had that feel, it had that vibe to it. It had like a very horror movie vibe to it because you look at the landscape of New York at the time, and they're going through subway tunnels, they're going through the subway ramps and all that stuff, and subway bathrooms and all the dirt and grime and trash is everywhere, and everything looks closed down. It's very it legit has that horror movie vibe to it. So you're watching it and you're waiting for people to jump out and shit. There weren't any jump scares, which I thought really should have happened.
Yeah, with that type of soundtrack, you would feel that it would have been definitely been all over it, capitalize on that opportunity. Not that it needed it, but I could see that benefiting the movie is where I'm getting at. And thank you, Lindsay.
Yeah, and the music was by Barry DeVarzon. I can't pronounce it right. Sorry. And he also wrote In the City with Joe Walsh. So I guess he did the soundtrack, and he also wrote that. That's a great song. That's just such a cool song. And that kind of fit. It's a light song, but it kind of fits because they're they've made it home and they've survived, and Sully's gonna get killed now, not the Warriors. The Warriors have made it back. So yeah, the music all throughout the movie is really good. Like you guys are saying too, it's like a horror kind of theme when you're that kind of, I don't know what's playing there, but it is pretty creepy music. It's kind of scary, scary, almost like a vampire movie in some ways. Late night, it's all dark, and yeah, definitely that horror vibe going.
Ooh, here's another well word. I love all the comments from the chat. Thank you guys. Seriously, you guys are. It's like we're all just laying down all this knowledge. I like how we're just laying it like it's less like it's because people like us, we live with this type of movie. It's such a big movie in the culture at the time, and the fact that like people did just watch this movie, but they wanted to know the ins and the outs. And then if you're someone like Mr. RC who actually lives in the NYC, like, you get that little extra oomph out of it. The city, very seedy and gritty at the time, became, it really was like it became this whole little world that was, as I mentioned earlier, it's a very dark looking movie, but yet it was so colorful. It really did have its own character to it because of that. Most of the people were, obviously, you got this newsstand guy, you had the girl earlier who worked at like that convenience stand, but most of the people who were in that area, it was dominantly all gangs. Like if you think about it, 5% maybe of the cast, maybe more of the cast members in this movie, even the extras, were all gang members. This was like, you want to talk about like an ocean of just crime going up the roof. Like imagine that, an area where it's dominated quite literally by gangs.
Yep.
Whew.
Yeah, kind of like living in Chicago, right, Nick? Just kidding.
Another interesting fact was the actual real gang for Coney Island was the Homicides, and they didn't approve of the fictional gang wearing colors on their turf. So the Wardrobe Department made sure that nobody walked off location wearing the Warriors colors. The actors were safe during the cemetery scene in Brooklyn because of a fence surrounding it.
Ooh, that's pretty brutal,
Interesting,
dude. Yep. Wow. And Lindsay, you're right. And I think once again, it's one of those types of movies are fun because it's kind of like a free for it. It's like, oh man, anything can go. And the idea is simple, but as long as the execution is good, that's ultimately all that it comes down to. And obviously, this story delivers that in spades here. Obviously, and you would see like, oh my God, I love this scene here. They're trying to fend off the police. Yeah, I got to turn off for a bit for this guy. Yeah, and at the time, this was hardcore at the time. Like, obviously, some of the action you could tell was a product of its time, but still, like these guys, man. Once again, these guys can juke. Like, I seen some guys running. Kind of reminds me of the days when middle school, when the kids are like, hey, let's go egging, and then the egging happens, and then you run, or the ding dong ditchers. Like you gotta run like there's no tomorrow. That's the Warriors with gangs and all. Oh my God. I wonder how many gangs there had to have been. There had to have been like hundreds. And yes, I know, Lindsay, Fox's demise. Yes, it's coming. What a brutal death. What a brutal death Fox had in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
I
Don't
remember
piss off the director.
No, for real. Like, oh, dude. Man, this is like, I can't imagine. See, I don't see this type of thing. Like, even if you took out the PC culture of it, do you see gangs fighting with police like this nowadays, or gangs fighting this with each other? It's just like all out war. Like, it almost sounds like some out of a comic book. Just
it does.
Yeah, like something that would have been like on like Daredevil. I could see it being like Daredevil, like Kingpin, Wilson Fisk has his gang. Yeah, Hammerhead has his gang. Maybe Silvermane or Tombstone. They got their little things going on. Maybe Luke Cage is like the counter culture to the gang that's trying to do good. So he tries to get like Danny Rand involved. I can already see it like the Marvel version of the Warriors type of thing. I don't know who'd be the one doing the Cyrus speech though. Of who can dig it? I don't know though. I don't know if the Marvel Comics equivalent exists of that.
A Marvel Comics equivalent? No, that doesn't
As-
exist.
Well, no, as far as the mafia gangs that were in the Marvel books, because obviously you don't really see it a lot in the movies, but when like some of the Netflix shows like had some of those elements of it, but there's a lot of cool like gangs that were in the Marvel comic books, especially like Silver Age and the 80s. It was a big deal at the time to have that. And yes, a Brutal Death. Dude. Yet. I feel like in a way, as I've stated many times on many of these Toxic Tuesdays, sometimes it's even more terrifying because you get that mental image of your head of what it looked like. And Dark Knight obviously did a lot of that, and that's probably what helped them keep it at a PG-13 rating, because obviously you can tell they were trying to push the rating as close as they can to an R, but without getting an actual R. And this movie, yeah, there you go. Boom, man. Fox gone. He gone.
Boom.
This movie
No more
did
Fox. Yep.
had a lot of similarities to me, like a lot of feeling similarities to Judgment Night.
Ooh, I don't think I've seen Judgment.
Me neither.
Oh, that's that was one of the first movies I ever bought on DVD when I got my DVD player back in the 90s. But it's got, I mean, are you familiar with the soundtrack for Judgment Night?
No, tell me about this. I maybe the more you tell me, the more I'm thinking, okay, I've not
Okay, so
seen
this is like
Judgment
got
Night.
like the song like Biohazard. Here, let me bring it up so I can read it off to you.
Oh, you had me at Biohazard.
So let's see. Basically, it's got it's like a rap metal fusion. So like the first song is Just Another Victim, House of Pain, and Helmet.
Oh my god, House of Pain. That's so 90s.
And then Me, Myself, and a Microphone is Run DMC and Living Color.
Oh my god.
And there's a song called Disorder, which is Ice-T and Slayer.
I remember Disorder. I do remember that one.
Obviously, I Love You, Mary Jane, Cypress Hill, Sonic Youth.
I remember that one. So okay.
Then there was like Pearl Jam and Cypress Hill, De La
my
Soul and
God.
Teenage Fan Club, Biohazard and Onyx.
Okay, hold on. Stop right there at Cypress Hill in Pearl Jam. Could you imagine Cypress Hill talk about their whole like thug life, and then here over like, and those two don't go hand in hand with each other. Pearl Jam.
I mean, and you go back and you even look like there's a song called Freak Mama, and it's Sir Mix-a-Lot and Mud Honey.
Mud Honey. Oh
Yeah,
my
they're like a
God.
big 90s if you're not familiar with them. Big like 90s grunge band.
I don't remember Mud Honey. I remember like knowing at least about the other bands at the time. So was this what, 93, 94, Dustin?
Let's see. Yeah, the album was released in 93.
Okay.
And so basically the movie is like a bunch of people, they get onto and they get into this RV to go this fight. And they're on the highway and there's a big traffic jam. They're trying to make it to the fight on time. And they get off on this exit thinking they can cut the traffic and get to the fight on time. And they get off on the wrong side of town. And I won't spoil it, but I mean, everything goes wrong, obviously.
Okay.
Dennis Leary's in it.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. Cuba Gooding Jr., Jeremy Piven. I had to look up and see. I can't remember because I watched it so many times, but I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't even know where I could find it now.
Oh, well, guess we'll have to look for that one. Who knows? Maybe that will be a toxic flick.
Definitely
Down
Comes
the
the
line.
baseball furies. Yeah. Look at these
Seriously.
scary bastards. Yeah.
No, that sounds
weird. That's
great
like something you
flick.
see in Chicago. A bunch of dudes running around in baseball uniforms.
Yeah.
Well,
Did they get harassed by the cops that often? I wonder.
oh gosh.
Cops are probably
Dressed like
afraid
that.
of them. I mean, they look they were creepy as fuck, man.
Yeah. That was and everyone like back then too. Everyone was dressing like them for Halloween too. Like you had kids that were dressing up like the baseball.
I just don't
Furies
remember
or the
them saying a
Warriors.
word.
I don't think they did. You're right.
Yeah,
Hold on,
like,
let's
I
get
thought
into
they
it.
were
Sound of
mimes.
bats.
Like
Go ahead, Andy.
yeah, I thought they were basically mimes. They had the face paint and bats and didn't say anything. They just went up and started beating people. I thought that's what happened.
Talk softly and carry a big stick, personified, right? Until the Warriors kick their asses, right? So That was, and the fight
And
scenes are good in this movie too.
Sorry if I wasn't involved. I was trying to find the ones that I thought would terrify Mad the most because that makes me laugh. So
No,
I
it's all
wanted
good,
to
man.
give suggestions. So I was looking through the list and when ones I knew that would be like probably get to them.
It's all
I'm
good,
back
dude.
now. I'm gonna
No,
stop.
Okay, good.
You'll think about
Welcome-
scaring Mads later. Yeah.
Yeah, think about this. Toxic Man Flu for $10 says Pearl Jam sucks green donkey balls. That's what Vetter mumbles. True story. Thank you for the $10. So, damn it. So that's when you know the minute we mention Pearl Jam, Tox has to put in the input. Thank you, Tom. No, seriously. No, and it's Courtney here mentions yeah, Pearl Jam with Ice-T not on the same stage but at Lollapalooza. Yeah. Well, I know I could get if it's one thing where they're on the same festival, but it's just as far as the mix on stage, I'm gonna be conceding to something here, but at least Anthrax and I can't believe I'm freaking Bring the Noise. I'll make Dustin help me. Anthrax, Bring the Noise. Public Enemy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes more sense. Pearl Jam and Ice-T.
And I thought that was on the soundtrack, but it's not for some reason.
Okay.
I thought it was.
Nah, either way. Whoo. Man. Oh, dude. There's the boys find the Kiss Army. Kiss Army. Anyone knows that Kiss reference will get it.
Yeah, check out their faces here. Yeah.
I still don't see them as Kiss though, you know?
I could see the influence where it comes from. I mean, don't forget Kiss were right around the brink of explosion at that time.
It's still way more Clockwork Orange, in my opinion, anyways.
I
Than
could
Kiss.
see that too. I could see
it's
a
Clockwork,
Clockwork
yeah.
Orange.
They probably had to come up with so many different gangs. They had to pull from every conceivable area they could get their hands on.
Dude, I think they opened up their, fridge or garage and came up with gangs that way. Like the random things they found, back of the closet. Oh, we got some flashing dancing gear and we got some baseball bats. Okay, those are two different gangs. Let's see what else. Oh, I got some dirty clothes, gang. Oh, here's my old leather jacket from that one summer, gang. Okay, what else we got? Oh, here's a kimono, gang.
Oh yeah, that was weird. The kimonos and like the Japanese get up and oh. But I mean, if you look at IMDb, there's actually a list of all the gang names in there.
Oh my God, is there?
That's cool.
Yes,
Dude.
Yeah,
it goes on forever. There's like some of the weirdest names, and then let me see if I can go back down here. It's alphabetized: Alley Cats, Amsterdam All Stars, Baseball, the Furies, Black Hands, Blackjacks, Big Train, Boppers. And then there's like the Destroyers.
the Boppers.
Yeah. Then there's one I saw one down here.
The DJ kept saying boppers, right? For some reason.
There's
He's
one
scared
that-
of the Boppers.
Meat Packers, Moon Runners, Napoleon.
Okay, no, you know what, Dustin? Let's just list them all. Let's hear them
Yeah.
all.
Yeah,
All right, I'll go down the
for it.
entire list. So we made it all the way down. So there was Alley Cats, Amsterdam All Stars, Baseball Furies. I don't want to keep wanting to say furries. The Black Hands, the Blackjacks, the Big Trains, the Big Boppers, the Boyle Avenue Runners, the Charlemagnes, the Colt 45s, the Dealers, the Delaney Rovers, the Destroyers, the Dingoes, the E Street Blazers, also the E Street Shufflers. They're like, it's kind of like the same. And then there's the Easy Aces, the Electric Eliminators, the 8th Street Bombers, the 8th Avenue Apaches. They're the same. The Fastballs, the 5th Street Bombers, the
Fifth
Fillmores,
Street. Hold on. Say that one again. Fifth or fist?
5th Street
Fifth.
Bombers.
Okay,
Yeah.
fifth. Okay, that makes sense.
The Fillmores, the Fire Tasters,
Holy shit! Yeah.
The Fire Tasters?
The Fire Tasters.
Wow.
That's awesome.
These
fire.
are the worst gang names you could come up with.
I'm just
Yeah,
glad
they
that
get worse.
Okay,
They get
but
worse.
good.
So-
'Cause I'm glad that they committed. Go on, Dustin.
The 5 Points, the Gerards, the Gladiators, the Gohards.
The Toxic Tuesdays.
Yeah.
TC.
The Gun Hill Dancers. Because I remember seeing Gun Hill on the map when they were looking at the subway map. There was a place called Gun Hill. So Gun Hill Dancers makes sense. The Gramercy Riffs, aka the Riffs.
The Gung
The
Hill
hi-hats.
dancers come at you in sequence, like cha cha
Dude.
cha 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 cha.
Platform shoes. Goldfish and toe. The hi-hats, the high rollers, the homeboys, the hoplites, the howitzers, the hucks,
I could see howitzers and hucks.
the hurricanes. Here's one for you: the imps,
The Imps.
the imps, the jesters, the Jones Street Boys, the Judas Bunch, the Jupiters.
They betrayed the other gangs.
Yeah, dude. They stabbed him. The Jupiters, the Knockdowns, the Knuckles, the Lizzies, the Locos, the Magicians.
Don't forget the Calzone crew. Yes, Calzone crew.
Here goes Mads. It's the Meat Packers.
No meat. That's
The
Mads. That's Mads gang. The meat
Yeah, dude.
packers.
The meat
Yep.
packers.
Mongols, the Moonrunners, the Napoleons, the Nickel Steaks.
Sorry, the what?
The Nickel Steaks.
The nickel steaks. Everybody fears the nickel steaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
They
sure they're
related to
terrible
the
and-
Oh my
Nickelbacks.
god. That says the Turks? Holy shit.
Yeah, the Night Riders, the North Avenue Razors, the Orphans, we knew them, the Panzers, the Phillies, the Plainsmen, the Punks, the Queensbridge Mutilators, the Real Boys, not the people,
Yeah.
the
Not those
Red
other
Hook
fake
Shooters, the Roadmasters, the
Massive.
Rogues, the Romans, the Runaways, the the Saracens.
Saratogas.
No, there's Saracen right before that. So
Oh, the Saracens,
SARACEN,
yeah.
Saracens.
Yeah, Saracens.
Yeah, the Savage Hunt, Shanghai Sultans.
That sounds pretty cool. That one sounds cool. But the
Then there's the Southern Cross and the Speedwagons. They got
REO
this movie together
Speedwagon?
this year. Yeah. The
The
Sports.
Wang Danglers.
stilettos, what? Oh, come on. That can't be real.
The stiletto. Well, stiletto was a knife.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
So like a
The-
stiletto would be like that. So like the switchblade was like a stiletto type blade.
Yeah.
The Stonebreakers, the Terriers, the Turks,
I
Turnbull ACs,
come on, dude.
Van
The
Cortlandt
Turks, like-
Rangers. And then we
This
had
is
the
good.
Whispers, the Xenophobes, or the Xenophones. I'm sorry, Xenophones,
Yeah.
not Xenophobe, Xenophones.
The dog.
The Xylophones, a bunch of yo-yos, the Youngbloods, the Zodiacs, and the Zulus.
Wow. Okay. So I'm gonna read off the ones in the chat because the chat was definitely having fun with this. So why not have fun with it? We had the Calzone crew, we had the Cowboy Bebops, we had the Humans, we had the Moonrunners, the Matrix Morons, not the Nickelbacks, the Dingleberries, the Anti-Vaxxers, the Wang Danglers, the Karens, hence Fire Taster, the Rectal Discharges, the John, the Dog Tuckers again, the Mad Mardigan Chode Hustler, the Basement Dwellers, Grandma's Party.
Grandma's panty flingers.
Oh,
Those things had well, they're like bloomers. They'll go like you can fly a kite with those.
Did you see
Dumb
that
it.
Grammy the other day attacking the guy that was trying to shoplift? got the guy to stop. She like grabbed him, pulled his mask off his hood, and like kicked his ass. Yeah,
The
pretty
finger
funny.
pullers, Dick's division's not represented. No mouths, butt plugs. Speaking of finger pullers, I did a poll on my Twitter yesterday of when someone utters the quote, "Smell this." Who do you trust more, women and men? Women won, but the part that's shocking is that they only won by a slim margin. I honestly thought women were gonna win by a landslide. I thought like when usually a girl says "smell this," you're like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" And then guys like, "Hey, smell this." I go, "No," like it's horrifying.
Hey, does this smell like chloroform to you?
What? What
So you'll get it in a second.
Oh no. Oh no. What are you doing, Yeti? What are you doing? Go ahead.
What am I doing? No, I gave it. Does this smell like chloroform to you?
What? I don't understand.
Chloroform? I'm not following.
Oh my god. You guys don't know what chloroform is?
It knocks you out.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's when you smell it. So you hold it out. Can you smell this?
Oh.
Remember, you
so
see
if
somebody
Yeti
getting
offers you
kidnapped, they come up with a
chloroform,
rag behind them, and they're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Oh,
Be very
what?
afraid. Be very afraid.
Okay.
But if you've ever done that, you like hold
No,
it
I
up and
haven't
say,
done
"Does this
anyone
smell like
anyone.
chloroform for you?" Everybody goes to sniff it immediately, and then it hits them. Oh shit!
Oops. Yeah.
the
no,
Roto-Rooters.
Roto-Rooters,
Yeah, you guys with these guys. Oh, here's Matt's favorite gang. Matt's favorite gang, and Matt's not here for his favorite game.
Oh, and then
where's
this
this-
scene too with the cop. You know, obviously it's a cop. It's like there's no way a woman would be out there all alone. I mean, unless she's crazy or doing something else. But you know, that's I'm like set up, and yeah, didn't end so well for Ajax after this one. Of course, he deserved it. So yeah.
At the time I saw it, I didn't know actually. I just thought the girl was just gullible and stupid to be in that area where she shouldn't be, and we're a bunch of violent gangs. And then all of a sudden, I remember like I was with the guys, and I'm like, "Oh shit, she's a cop!" And I remember he was freaking out because he was like, "Just let me go, just let me." And then that's it. You never see him again the rest of the movie.
Yeah, they don't even.
I thought he
mention
was
it.
like beaten to death. I thought that's what they're alluding to because he calls him like a bitch or something, and then it like fades to black. And
Well, they fight with him, but after that, you don't even hear about him. He's like, "Oh, he's history. Let's carry on."
Well, plus he probably was worried he was going to get killed in jail too, because everyone's after the Warriors too. So jail probably wasn't a safe spot too, because then the gangs would, you know, then of course the Warriors were let off the hook at the end of the movie. But
That
yeah,
was
he
like
probably
gone.
thought he was.
But-
yeah,
dude, how aggressive does he get immediately? Like it goes from, oh yeah, she wants to make out to like he gets a little apey, you know, to avoid saying words.
no, he so that's why he got arrested. Yeah, but
It
yeah,
was
what a
it was
moron,
so
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I like how Ajax's name is like after the dish detergent.
Yeah.
Well, to me, there was like so many obvious things, like all like that scene with the woman on the bench, the women that were like helping them and taking them back to their place. It's like all these things are like total red flags, and they're just like, especially in a sense where they're like running for their lives. They're like, oh, that's probably okay.
It's a
I'm
life
gonna-
lesson.
I'm gonna
You
stop
don't
and
trust
scratch
women.
this itch.
And that one's for Mad.
Mad, yeah. I mean, you
That
can't-
one's for Mad.
I mean, like with the lady on the bench, she's like, I gotta stop and scratch this itch, man. It's like, but that's not what should be going on right now, homie.
People are trying to murder us right now. No, I gotta stop here.
The other guy's like, we got plenty of women back home too, you know, and they just
Dude,
can't.
their base is on the beach. Like they've got the best gang territory out of everyone. They get a whole beach. You know, there's going to be ladies coming out there every single day. Like you don't got to worry. But no, middle of trying to get murdered, he's got to stop.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
that. I guess
he got
that's
his
that whole
just
toxic.
rewards.
You know, the whole toxic. I can't think of the word. The toxic mentality.
Yeah, but of course then he went criminal too on that. Yeah, that toxic.
Well, yeah.
Then
I mean, they
then
are
he went
gang
criminal.
members, so the
Like
whole
you were saying,
criminal
it almost
aspect.
didn't make sense too, because she seemed like she was like, oh, basically show me what you can do. Let's have some fun. And then he went nuts, which
he went
didn't make
so
sense.
weird. That was
which didn't make sense to the. I mean, of course,
with Ajax,
and it destroys his character too, because then you're like, oh, he's scumbucket this guy too. So it's
but like
hold on.
Oh yeah,
Ajax,
I didn't understand that.
Are you serious? I'm only saying it because I thought I saw the writing on the wall with Ajax. I felt like because we saw how he was with Mercy earlier in the movie too. Like I thought,
that's true.
oh,
What he said. Yeah,
this guy is the type of guy who would totally do that, and that's the vibe I immediately got off of him with Mercy, and then. When he it shows you he's so gullible that he was thinking about himself first and foremost when he saw the girl at the bench. So I'm like, oh yeah, this guy, he's ultimately in it for himself.
That's in it for himself, but with Mercy, it wasn't to the same extent. It was almost like he was trying to play hard to be the guy that she wanted, but that wasn't the guy she wanted.
Oh God.
But he didn't seem to cross that line. And then he goes like so far beyond it, he can't see it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought he was trying to be the tough guy. Like he was trying to act tougher than he was.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was trying to challenge. But the other guy's obviously the more badass. That's why everybody followed him at the beginning of the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like overcompensating.
Mm-hmm.
So then when it came to this scene, it escalated so fast. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Maybe I missed the signs for him.
Well, plus you want to like what Mayasha, I'm saying the name wrong. I apologize. Eugene is saying, these guys are all, he's saying all scumbuckets or bums or, because that's but you don't want to think that too. Like you kind of idolize them and look up, because they're the gang or the quote unquote the heroes of the story. So,
but there is a little back and forth though, like because Mercy dishes it out as much as they do. Like she's not weak in any way.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, she gives it right back. Yeah, she
emasculates the entire gang that she's with. Like there's 30 guys and she calls them out. Like she's not
makes
not
them
weak.
Look pretty bad. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point. Yeah. But you want to kind of look herself up to these, and the movie you always want to have sympathetic characters. So in the end, Swan doesn't do anything towards Mercy when she's basically saying let's make out. He's like, not now. Everything tonight has been terrible. It's all been horrible. And he just kind of walks away there and leaves her there. So it's it's a plus these are you're portraying gang quote unquote gang members or
young gang members too.
Gang
so
members,
I can buy them going like, oh yeah, this chick is totally into me. Like no, she isn't. Yeah, she's not. Yeah, she's getting a free drink from you. That type of thing.
Yep. So it's but they're not. Yeah, this is not a bunch of upstanding quote unquote citizens, but the portrayal, it's a sympathetic portrayal to them, and you see where they grew up and where they live, and living in poverty, and they want their piece of the pie too. So what chances they have, going to school, or they got a lot of things setbacks to get ahead. So that's why that interest, the Can You Dig It speech, even though it's fun, the Can You Dig It, but you really listen to that speech, it's really a speech, about, those guys trying to get ahead and the gang members and how they're getting the shaft in life in the real world too. So it's really, really interesting. There's a lot more to the movie. If you just look at it one way, just like a fun, bash him up, trip trying to stay alive, get through the city. But there's also another level you can look at it, which is really interesting.
Hi guys. I came back at a weird time.
Did I put everyone to sleep? Yeah,
No. No, I that was
I was
great
waiting for
timing
someone to
on
go.
my
I was
end.
waiting for someone to go. Yep.
That was great time on my end. I just needed to rush to go pee really quick. I was actually gonna say go potty, but that
You
and
went potty?
that no, I had to go pee.
Sorry, what did you have to do?
Yeah, where do
what
we
did you
leave
have to do,
potties
Nick?
now?
Well, now we're at the
No,
Lizzie's right now. We're at the Lizzie's. Yeah,
Nick,
yeah.
I had to go potty.
what
Yeti.
did you have to do?
I had to go potty.
Oh, I wanted clean audio of this so I could use it later. God damn.
Had to go.
Ah, it
pee.
didn't work.
All right, say it again.
I
Test
wanted
1,
to
2,
use
3.
it against you in something.
Had to go make tinkles.
To go make tinkles. Rudy's got what we got.
The potty posse.
I had this discussion with a friend of mine today. I'm like, I don't really even care. I mean, probably like, I'm like, who really? That's like, we kind of got in this weird thing, like after like in like the late 80s, early 90s, where everything was like, you know, landscaped, if you will. And, you know, try to keep things from, you know, being taken off, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, you're good.
I don't know. I mean, and I think it's kind of
There's
making
no
a comeback now. And
the Warriors weren't manscaping back then. I can tell you that. much.
no. I'm like, I'm surprised they could fit all that in those tight jeans. Getting shit.
Why are
caught in
you
the zipper.
thinking about that?
I don't know. I'm a weird fucking dude. What do you want from me?
Okay, I
weird.
can accept that answer.
Oh, look at counting here. The mega bush is the best part. All right, so now we know some of us guys here like a good old garden. So now we're all getting to know each other.
Sometimes
here
that's the present you unwrap. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what you get. You're like, oh well, here it is.
Oh, I'm out.
No, you don't leave. Especially you spent like maybe a few weeks, you know, wooing and stuff, and then you don't know what's happening. Then you get in
a few
there.
weeks, you got to up your game.
I mean, you know, I'm not a professional.
Well, if you don't do it right, you're gonna get shot, right? So
Right.
these Warriors
you
thought they
know.
were gonna get lucky, and then they've got knives, guns. And this woman, like, how bad of a shot is she? It's like,
Okay.
you know,
As bad as the script needed her to be.
What was the gun hidden in the bush? Like,
Maybe. Well, they say a gun in the bush is worth 9 in the. I don't know.
I feel like we scared off the newest member here, Raquel.
Oh no, she's here.
You guys are good.
So, I mean, what's your thought on Bush, Raquel? I mean,
George Bush or W or
George W. or, you know, George Sr.
Or 70s Bush.
He's at a game.
No comment.
good answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah,
That
good
got
answer.
awkward real quick.
Eh.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
so that was a good scene too, because
gets
I mean, like
toxic in here
Dustin was
sometimes.
saying, they're gonna, it's not gonna end well for them. Like, what are these guys thinking? And they're worried about, thinking they're gonna get lucky, and boom. Once
Like,
again,
like,
yeah,
obviously, like soon they get in there, they're making out with these girls. I don't know what their normal day-to-day routine is, but I'm guessing it's not this.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, that's suspicious right away. Right away.
I got it.
I have
Go ahead,
to
Raquel.
say, like, with the girls, the Lizzies being packed and all, you would hope that learn how to shoot. They weren't really accurate with their guns.
Well, there weren't a lot of gun ranges in New York in the 70s. There probably still aren't.
There's only
But,
one left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
New
that's
York
because
is-
they just practice in the streets. They didn't worry about a gun
Well, there's
range.
no practicing. They just spray and pray, man.
Yeah, but
They
yeah,
try
that's
to
true.
use
I
the
agree with
force.
that, Raquel. Yeah, that was like, wait a minute, one of the guys should have gotten shot there. It's like, how do you miss? I mean,
I mean, you don't get to 20,000 murders with a spray and pray. There's training to get those numbers.
I mean, a lot of it's really up close and personal, though. A lot of that's within like a foot or less.
I was not being serious.
Oh yeah.
I was not being serious at all.
See, like this
Yeah, but-
scene right here, he's just walking like there's nobody. How creepy is this? This is like what 3, 4 in the morning at this point.
yeah,
Just and here's the dude in skates.
yep.
And
Don't mess-
he's scary because he's by himself in overalls on skates. That's
not regular
terrifying.
skates
Roller
too.
derby.
The four
Yeah, rollerblades weren't a thing yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Such
yeah,
thing
but
as
that's
rollerblades,
just
yeah.
creepy. You see someone wearing that, it's like, yeah, they're gonna murder someone. Like that's
yeah.
100%. They are gonna murder someone that night if you see that. It's a fact.
Oh no, totally. No, you know what I liked is how that as he was going down that whole platform, you're like, oh, he's lucky those weren't steps. He'd have to take off his roller skates and he had to walk by foot. And then so I was like, oh, he's so lucky. Because imagine he's like, oh crap, I can't roller skate down there. I gotta take these off. We had to watch an awkward moment where he has to take them off. So okay, we're mentioning like some of the setups in this movie. Now, obviously, for those who some people who are probably watching this movie for the first time now may see some of these scenes as, I guess you could say, maybe predictable. But at the time, this movie did a lot of those traits before other movies did. So, I mean, do you think if you had never seen a lot of the movies that you guys have seen, this can apply to chat? Do you feel like some of these scenes would not have been as predictable had you not seen all these movies where they did these type of setup scenes? Because this movie was doing a lot of those things. But nowadays, if you have seen a bunch of our movies and then you see this, you'll probably slightly discredit it for being predictable. Do you guys follow me or where I'm getting at?
Yeah, no, I get-
yeah, the fight scene in the bathroom was predictable, but at least it wasn't too predictable that it made look like it was cheesy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah,
It was logical.
I just
Like,
want to mention one
everything
thing.
was logical.
Yes.
But while this up, sorry, but while this is up, she's like, "Wait a minute, I can't go in there. It's the men's room," which is kind of
Thank you,
today.
Courtney.
It's kind of funny. Hail Courtney, yeah, which is kind of funny these days. But yeah, and then she's like a gang member, and she's like, "Well, I can't go in the men's room. What are you, crazy?" So.
Yeah, I mean, because even if like we're looking at this with 2021 eyes or whatever year it is, 2022, whatever, we're looking at with modern day eyes, and we've seen every other movie that's come out. But you still got to figure these people are living the gangster life. You think that they'd be a little bit better versed and not getting taken out that fast.
This is why I said it's logical, because so we can view it and not in their shoes. And say, okay, that's a stupid decision. But the characters, they are young, stupid dudes, like hopped up on hormones. So they see a chick and they're like, yeah, you know, like that's the character. So it's logical in the character's eyes. You know, our eyes are like, oh, you're a moron for doing this. But in theirs, you know, the like early 20-something, you know, most guys are like, oh yeah, like, okay, I'm not worried about dying, you know, I'm invincible, so yeah, let's go to this party with these girls, you know. Does that make sense, or do I just
it
makes
does. But at the same time, in context though, you're running for your life and then you're like, well, let's stop and smell the roses.
Well, these are also guys who are obviously these are guys who are very toxic men who are obviously absolute horn dogs too. You got to remember that.
Yeah.
So they're the and a lot of guys, most guys probably won't admit now, but I'm just gonna say most guys in their life had probably done some dumb move of gullibility to some girl that they were, I guess you could say, were easy on the eyes for them.
100%.
Yeah, so if you look at
never.
like if you look at it like that, you could say, okay, obviously, logically speaking, is the dumbest move. But these are also guys who are absolute horn dog who probably just been around each other for weeks, maybe years, months. Who knows? Obviously, that can be interpreted. But regardless, it's kind of like I've heard a lot of guys who are in the military when they say that they're surrounded by dudes for months. It's like a shining light comes on the minute they see a woman in their life. Obviously, that does apply to Mad Mardigan because he likes to stay in the company of men. But it's just like they don't see like a lady for weeks, sometimes months, because they're just surrounded by dudes. So it's just like, holy crap, females exist. Yeah, no, well, I'm not saying that. It's just that's just the from what it sounds like for a lot of military guys, that's the reality of the situation. But I'm sure that's not for all the types of military units out there, but I've definitely heard it for quite a few of them. So, yeah, imagine that. Well, Mad can imagine that. That's Matt Mardigan. I love this fight. This is how you street fight. Like this is like WWF attitude before WWF attitude. Look at that bite.
And this is the only scene that was shot in an actual like studio set.
Wow, that actually is impressive. It actually looks like a legitimate bathroom.
Well, it does look a little too clean for New York City.
Are you sure? Look, you can see some nastiness on the walls. I mean,
It's just the condition I expect in New York.
I mean, all the stalls had doors in the beginning.
I'm never going to New York. That's what I'm learning. I am not going there.
I wouldn't touch anything in that bathroom, to be honest.
You've never been to Grand Central Station in the 70s and gone to the bathroom there? It wasn't so pretty. Yeah.
Well, this explains why you see people just like pooping in the streets. I wouldn't want to poop in this room. I'll take my chances getting watched.
Sometimes, I mean, I'm really close to pooping wherever I'm at. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter, but you take what you can get.
Yeah. There's this legendary in this venue that was around in NYC. It was called the CBGBs. It was like a historical venue, and the place was so run down. I've always said that if you walked inside CBGBs, you'll survive any disease ever.
That's what our Emerson Theater was like here, man. Still kind of is. Like you go in and like it was just disgusting.
Well,
this guy's got a nice karate.
This is a really good test for everyone. Like to determine whether or not you had a good upbringing. If you look at that bathroom, go, oh my God, that's disgusting and dirty. I don't want that. Congratulations, you had a good upbringing. You were raised in a decent household.
So you're saying I grew up fucked up? Because I'm like, it doesn't look that dirty.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. I'm sorry to break it to you.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as like the rest of like everything else, it didn't look that dirty to me. Like I anticipated being worse, in a subway bathroom. No, I didn't see any shit smeared on the wall.
Like, oh yeah, so you were raised in a first world country. Like that's what you see.
Yeah.
Oh God, no, and that's true. Can you imagine, like, if you're someone who lives in these, like, I guess you could say if you lived in like Chicago, which I did, or New York City, or LA, or even Detroit, and to them, these type of bathrooms and public areas are your norm because that's just how it is all the time. That said, though, a part of me is slightly bummed that I never went to CBGBs just because there's so many like legendary like bands that I would love to have seen there. And obviously it's a nice little dive, so you get the up close and personal vibe. But once again, you go the minute you walk in there, you survive anything. That's still where I'm at because that's how run down was. It's just like it's just so like nasty, but it's just like
is the Fireside Bowl still open in Chicago?
I honestly I've not heard of it. I will concede to that.
Okay, so then I guess it's not. Then I was there in like 05 and saw like a band called Among the Swarm and Lick Golden Sky, and there was like it was an old bowling alley that got converted into a venue, and there was like a literal hole in the floor you could like your leg could go into.
Mm-hmm. So okay, it's where I gotta ask RC here. The bathrooms in the subways are rarely open now. You're better off using the bathrooms in Penn Station or Grand Central Terminal. Oh my God. I'm like, I don't know if I'm relieved to hear that or if I'm more mortified. That's hard to interpret because I could see some certain desperate New Yorkers be like, you know what? I'm not going to wait to get off
Grand
this
Central's
train.
actually probably better than
okay.
than most these days. And,
I believe that was called New York. Like that,
New York,
I think.
Yeah. But I mean, plus things have been cleaned. Things have been cleaned up too. I mean, now they're getting worse again, unfortunately. But depends on where you are. But if you're in the Bronx, there's some really nice areas of the Bronx too. It's the funny thing. Like AOC grew up in Bronxville, where I have a friend who lives there, which is like a suburb of New York. Basically, they're all really expensive houses and really nice place. So it's the same thing. There's always stereotypes about areas, and so when she said she's from the Bronx, it's a total joke. I mean, so it's like, yeah, if you Google up, look where she went to school, but there's also some really, every town's got some places that aren't so nice or rundown places, but New York in the 70s, there were whole huge sections that were just total disaster. So yeah, you're not going to want to just go in off the street and go somewhere. In the trains and the subways, no one cared what they looked like, or they they couldn't do anything about it. It was just totally overrun, and they were going bankrupt, so they couldn't take care of anything. So it was just a total disaster. So it's, when you go to places, you see, when was this bathroom was last cleaned 15 minutes ago. You're not seeing that on the subway in New York. So
I'm kind of surprised that like New York never went the route of London and having those pop-up urinals.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
they were talking
around
about
the
it.
pubs. They would
were
have these
talking
pop-up
about it.
urinals that would come out of the ground at night, so people weren't pissing in the streets. They were just pissing in these urinals.
Well, they were gonna have like portable stations, but then they had to have them handicapped access, so they said it was too much money. So then they nixed it, I think. But they were for a while gonna do that. So yeah, because people
Oh
just
my
go
God.
everywhere. Yeah.
Isn't
Okay. I want to bring up this scene because Lindsay and RC bring up great points about this scene. Once again, the juxtaposition and the symbolicness. Yeah, you got people who are looking goody then you got the rebellion. And you got Swan. He's got that really weird black mark that in certain angles looks really off on his face. And you're like, whoa, that thing, he took a nasty hit. Like obviously when they're fighting in the men's room, but because that thing, like I said, in certain angles, it looks freaking nasty.
Yeah, wasn't that supposed to be going to like bone type of thing?
It looked like it was burned off too in some way. It was like so bad.
I see. It looks bad. Like I can't tell you what it was, if it was burned off or it was just like a chunk of skin just like gone. But you look at it from certain angles, it looks nasty.
It looks like someone like either punched him with their ring on or like a knuckle buster. You know what I mean? Right on
it's
the
getting
cheek.
bigger too.
It's getting redder.
Yeah, right there is like double the size it was in the previous scene. Sorry to cut you off. I don't know. I saw that. Like, it's getting bigger.
Seriously, it's a freaking nasty thing.
And he's not Barry. Another person I thought Swan looked like Barry Gibb a little. Not Barry. What was the youngest Gibb? Andy Gibb a little bit. I thought. Yeah. I don't know if I don't remember Andy Gibb, but yeah.
But nobody's gonna take him out with that jawline. He's sticking around.
Oh yeah, he's the face of the movie. He's just like, yeah, I'm the face. It's okay.
Face man.
We're cool. We're cool. No, I remember obviously being raised on Spider-Man comics, and I remember how many stories or like even video games where it involved Coney Island. I remember like it was like a thing when I was like, I want to go to Coney Island. Like I want to go to Coney Island. And there's that part of me that still hopes that one day Coney Island will be a thing, but I don't know if I obviously I've not kept up on New York history, so I don't know if it's still there. If it is it safe to go there now? Maybe that's just the childhood dream of wanting to go there.
No, it's definitely safe. And plus the daytime and things are a lot nothing like the 70s. But unfortunately, we don't want to get into politics here, but there's a lot of conflict going, and over, with DAs and prosecution and the crime wave that's in the news and things that are happening. So it's definitely things are going in the wrong direction. You've had the vid for the last 2 years. A lot of businesses are shut down. Restaurants aren't open. There's not as many people. So it's, cascading effect. And then you've got the whole movement.
The truckers are going to save us.
Yeah. And you got the whole movement to, without getting to the rights of wrong of, judicial reform or, a lot of people are saying that, hey, you're letting all these, these people out and there's no, no cash bail anymore. And the cops are, arresting people anymore. So, because they said it's not even worth it. So, yeah.
Well, then they get in trouble when they try. Like they get filmed immediately and then they're canceled. It's like, well, this is legitimate, but they'll get tried. So they don't bother.
No, and that's a good point, Lindsay, about the corsage thing. Yeah, he's just like, I don't like wasting things. And they're like, oh, that's very interesting. It's and this guy's a total gangbanger. He's just like, hey, we need to use this. And yes, the infamous scene, guys. We all know it. And Mr. Grant Gregory, what's up, Grant? Says, I've never actually seen somebody. Mr. Grant Gregory.
Oh,
dude.
you need to change this.
Yeah. How you doing, man? Glad to see you here. Thank you for hanging out. And RC, once again, with the great insight. The Coney Island at the time of filming was perfectly dilapidated. Most of the amusement parks were either closed or in major disrepair. Wow. Holy crud. That is...
This scene was ad-lib too. Like, they did a whole bunch of takes, and none of this was planned out, but, you know, they had all this stuff to make the scene look real. So there's a couple beer bottles, and so he just ended up grabbing them and started clinking them. And it was just, he just went with it for a take, and they thought it was just brilliant. And, like, that turned out to be the final cut.
Yeah, I'll put this article over real quick here. We could take a look at it, but exactly 100% right. Yep. So, just so the director takes about 20% credit, he said, yeah, think of something effing to say. I don't care. Sing them if you want, but let them know your presence and taunt them. Yeah, so I went over the camera and we're getting ready for the next shot. I saw in the corner of my eye jump out of the car and run under the pier and grab some old beer bottles from the trash and ran back to the car. I'm like, okay, let's rehearse once more and then we'll shoot. Action. Then he goes clink, clink, clink. Now, this is what a real director is about. You don't get in the middle of this, you just shoot it. In a way, that's what directors do. Give actors, it's what actors do, and he deserves the lion's share of the credit. But at the same time, I created an opportunity, and it was open to something that wasn't in the script, so I give myself 20% on that. So, yeah, that's an awesome scene. And great, I mean, what an amazing ad-lib that was. I mean, that just, everyone remembers the movie because of that scene, right? I mean,
like, it's a thing that's never going to disappear. Like, that is stuck in public consciousness now. If you say Warriors come out and play, people know it. Like, even when they don't see the movie, there's some recognition that they know the line, you know?
Yes, preach.
It's so iconic. And, you know, that does go to good directing and good acting, that they just worked with each other to, like, trust... Okay, come up with something. You know, this is your character. You know the character. And, you know, let's make magic. That type of thing, you know?
No, I think, and yes, I agree, Lindsay. Yeah, Luther was a fantastic character, aka not Sean Penn. I'm just like, wow, I mean, he this guy is obviously he's the catalyst of this whole movie, if you think about it, because he does the shooting to Cyrus. He pins it on the Warriors, and yet he tries to get the Warrior, basically gone.
Just because he likes it. He didn't have a reason. Yeah. Like, isn't that the scariest part about the movie?
Yeah, he's a straight villain.
Like, he didn't have a reason. Like, sure, okay, the guy was fine. It had nothing to do with his message. He just wanted to shoot a guy and cause chaos. Like, that's it.
The mimes. They don't beat you up, but they put you in that invisible box from Rudy.
But the one issue I do take with this is how his character turns in the end. Because he goes from this, like, really badass, terrible antagonist, and then he just flips into a weakling, like, starts crying once he gets stabbed.
Well, he knows he's going to die.
No, but he gets stabbed before he sees the other guys. Because when he pulled out the gun, he gets the knife in the arm, and he just starts whimpering. Where the entire movie, he's taunting, like he doesn't take it. He doesn't hold up.
Well, here we got to play that clip again that I made. So
let's do that.
You're pretty good, Nick.
He looks way too happy. Like, I mean, I don't buy that he's the big villain with that Farrah Fawcett hair.
Oh my!
I mean, that head just looked like a wig to me, though.
It's a weave, like Culture Casino. I wear a weave.
Not your hair. I'm talking about his actual hair in the movie.
Oh.
Robert De Niro was asked to be in this movie, and so was I just saw it.
How much conditioner do you go through a day?
Oh my God, Rudy Warriors, pour some sugar on me. Oh my God, you guys. Oh,
Yeah, Tony Danza was offered the role as well.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
Tony Danza
man.
was offered the lead, but he
Yeah.
chose to go with Taxi instead.
That was a
Wow.
smart play. Yeah.
Doesn't Mercy look like an early Rosario Dawson?
A little bit. I thought she was
I can
pretty.
see that.
Hey,
Yeah,
what's
she
up,
is.
Blobby? How you doing,
Hiya.
buddy?
She's
Nice to
dressed
see ya.
down.
Stubborn times.
Hot
Oh.
dog. Yes, everyone had the hairstyle in the 70s. Another monster. That's
Yeah.
true. So, yeah, Lindsay asking Tony Danza was supposed to be Swan.
I think so, right? Was
You
that what
tell
the
me.
article says that's- I
You
think-
tell
I
me.
think
That
that's
part
what-
I did not
yeah,
know.
no, I read that, but I'm guessing it would have been Swan because he was, he was getting Taxi, so he was up and coming at that point. I mean, not a big
Mhm.
star yet, but I
Mhm.
think it was Swan.
That actor
Could be
has had
wrong.
a pretty good career too. Like he's been in a lot of big movies, but it's not like I can say I know who he is. But he was in John Wick. I don't know which character he was, but he was in it.
And this is like the only scene in the entire movie that's not during the night, because everything else was purposefully shot during the night, and
Yeah.
they were actually colliding with other movies that were filming at the time, like what? Because I remember watching the making of documentaries, and they were talking about that. They didn't say the specific movies that they were filming at the same time as them, but in New York City. But yeah, they had to keep their movie dominantly filmed at night, which obviously worked for the look and the setting and the tonality of the movie. But yeah, it's so weird to see them all now like in actual daylight, like that. No more. So if you think about it in retro, once again, in the big picture of things, this movie took place over the course of what, maybe 12, 13 hours, if you think
Not
about
even.
it. Maybe not even.
Probably
Yeah.
6.
Maybe 6. Yeah.
That's
Maybe a
at
little
minimum,
bit more. 6 to 10 hours easily.
Yeah. But imagine getting through that night. I mean, that was a hellish. I mean, you're watching; it's only an hour and a half, but going through all those, getting through all the gangs, and they're like, "Oh, there's no truce anymore, right? We're going to fight
Mhm.
through." And then they find out, "Oh shit! Everyone thinks we killed Cyrus. Everyone's after us. They're all going to kill us." So,
Mhm.
and then they're wearing their colors, and they won't take their colors off because they're too proud. Either they could have taken their colors off and maybe gotten some and hidden, but they're gonna.
Well, their nipples would have got too cold,
Well, I mean, was that
so they had to
Anyway,
protect the
when they were filming
nipples.
Dude, Warriors. Men again is
Oh my god!
Yeah, where's Mad? Got it.
He's
Okay.
never coming back.
well now
Yeah,
now
he's
this
not
is
coming
what
back
he
for
gets
that
for
video.
not coming back.
Got to keep playing that video.
He is never coming back.
Oh, he must have had those cookies, and then he went to go hang out with his girlfriend. The soy must have got.
He
I thought he
decided
was
to
going
rock
for.
back.
I thought he was going for a mani pedicure, probably, right? Yeah.
They're watching fried green tomatoes.
Oh
as
my
they-
god. I've seen Streets of Fire. It's been a long time, but I've seen Streets of Fire. I've seen it. Yes,
she's pretty. Yeah,
ouch,
she's a good
right?
actress, yeah.
Well, I think she said she went and sought out the role. She saw, I can't remember her name, but I do know she sought out the role for this movie. So, and then like she was worried that she wouldn't get the part, which obviously they ultimately gave it to her, and she thought that they were gonna like hire another lady for, I guess you could say, for more obvious toxic male reasons. But like, no, you're literally the best actress for the job at the time. So she's like, oh, okay, cool. As long as you're sure, then yeah, great soundtrack, Rudy and Clobberin. Did anyone mention the weird comic book version of the film, meaning Walter Hill's odd special edition with the comic book scene changes? We have not touched on that, but I've been wanting to touch on this.
was
So
Well,
I
no,
guess
awesome.
let's go into
I've
that.
been
Weird.
Actually,
It
Clobby,
was
I've been
awesome.
I clipped that, so you've been seeing those scenes.
Oh,
so
for
whenever you saw,
clips.
Yeah. So,
but talking about it.
Yeah, and they probably didn't talk about, it, but we've been showing some of the, the screenshots. I clipped that new 2005 version. So yeah, Walter Hill really loved comic books and thought this was like a comic book type movie, and it's actually, I think it works pretty well. It's not overdone.
Definitely, yeah.
It's not not like taking over the film or some. He's not George Lucas in the Warriors here like Star Wars. So it's just minor touches, but I think it kind of adds something cool when you think of them as heroes and in that respect, and kind of sets the ambiance. And it's kind of nice tribute. And then Orson Welles is actually supposed to do the voiceover originally, and that all got nixed and cut out. So he actually gives the voiceover, and he's doesn't do the best job in the beginning. I mean, not that like we're voice professionals, the voice, so it's the director doing the voiceover. But that was that intro we were showing. They're talking about the Greeks and what the story is based on, the 10,000 warriors. So I thought it was a pretty good Blu-ray to grab if look it up. I don't know if it's in 4K yet, but I'm a 4K snob now too. But I think it was a nice version because this movie hadn't been out on the market for a long time, so they finally got it on Blu-ray.
Wasn't he supposed to did he scalp a guy at the end? Was that why he brought the blade to him?
I think, did he take his headband off or something? I thought he was going to scalp him.
Cleaning the blood off the blade with his hair.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought it would be way more badass if they're the Warriors and he went to scalp the guy just a little bit. Like that's what I thought was supposed to be happening. Like, yeah, that's a badass warrior.
I could see why you thought that. I could see why you thought that. A chunk of the scalp. Ooh, dude, that's some bad brutality.
Well, I thought he was like marking him for life because of that, Yeah. But he didn't do a kill scalping, just like he just took enough, just to say, yeah, you're gonna remember me. I kind of wish that was the case rather than, I don't know if because you said the headband. I don't think it was. I still think I see the headband.
Oh, that was. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, yeah, he just grabbed a bunch of hair and cleaned the blood off of it. Because I was wondering what he did too, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. He didn't cut him. He didn't. Because I thought he was taking a big chunk of his hair, but he didn't. He was just cleaning the blade. It had to be cleaning the blood off the blade.
Oh, that's why I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say, Dusty. Yeah, that's why I was wondering why the blade was clean. And that makes sense now. Thanks for.
I didn't catch
because
that.
The blade, when he walks away, he's carrying the blade, and you see it's all clean. After he pulls it up his arm.
I thought he was cutting his headband or hair off with a knife, but I guess not. Maybe he did. I don't know.
I guess we should have to look at that. See, that's a very interesting subject to decide on what actually was the thing that he did to him. Maybe whether it's branding, cutting a chunk of the scalp. Either way,
I can go back there real quick. Yep.
But
scalping would be fitting for their gang, though. Because they kind of got that symbolism.
Like you're
it's further back. Sorry. Oh wait, did I go too far? Yep.
No,
but that's where that main guy just becomes kind of a wimp.
He wiped the blood off the blade. There from Masha Eugene. Scalping would have been interesting. Deleted scenes. Yeah, where everyone's definitely got their, I guess you could say, their interpretation on what they think was.
But he wants to leave him. I think to the other gang. They know he's a dead man now anyway. So why why bother, right? Just he's gonna have a fate worse than death probably right now.
I still thought he should have been a bit tougher, unless that's the point. He's the tough guy that acts tougher than he really is.
Well, that's probably why he did what he did. That's why he shot that guy, being tough, but he didn't have anything to back it up.
Yeah, because as soon as anything happens to him, it's just crying, and then the other guys show up, and you hear him scream, which I would get screaming at that point because they're beating you to death. But right before that, he went from this tough antagonist to just whimpering, and I know I kind of thought that was weird.
All right, I want.
It's one of those comic book. Oh, sorry.
Oh yes, no. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you want to take that overlap for a second, and then people go. So this, and it's cool. They digitize so that it turns into the the comic book panel here. Boom, like he
Oh,
wanted to do. See,
cool.
and then a couple more,
Yes.
and then you've got a comic book here. So because Hill was a huge fan of comic books. Yeah,
I think it's a fantastic transition for this movie. It fits really well.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was
Agreed.
nice. Yeah.
All right, so
The
I
end.
I don't care where you guys stand on a pizza topping spectrum. I don't care what your debate is on politics, but I'm just gonna say it should be undisputed to agree that what RC says here is undisputable. This movie should never be remade, rebooted, reimagined. Period. I hear that statement, dude. This movie is meant to be the way it is, as just if you want to make a gang movie, make something new, brand
I
new.
can totally see
Leave it
something
as
in the
is.
world, but not in current Hollywood. That's the thing. You know, when people are getting excited about their remakes and remasters, that was before they turned everything to crap. You know, now there's absolutely no trust. But if you had somebody who was actually a good director, good storyteller, you know, like that came from this era, you could have more to this universe, this gang universe. Like, there's a lot to expand on because we
Maybe-
barely touched it, right?
Oh yeah, obviously that's the video game did a whole great. Obviously, I guess you could say from what we've been told from everyone in the chat and you guys on the panel who knew the game. Obviously, that expanded upon. I guess you could say that's what we have the game for. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could want to expand the world on the gangs that are not the Warriors. You could say maybe the gangs who are not the Warriors. But as far as the Warriors movie, the story is, for me, this is a sacred piece that I guess I'm just gonna be the gatekeeper. Like, leave the Warriors alone. You want to talk about the Meat Packers? Let's get a Meat Packers movie. Sure, let's go for the
Yeah.
Meat Packers. But
Well,
the
they'll
Warriors
never do
was
it-
perfect as is.
Yeah, they would never do this justice now. There's too much in it. And okay, well, I'll give away my rating way too early, but like almost toxicity in there in like some of the language used.
Oh,
Like
yeah, no, I
they
agree, yeah.
Hollywood wouldn't touch it, even though okay, they're the gangsters. They don't talk with respect, but
Mhm.
they wouldn't touch this, and they would destroy remaking it.
Well,
Oh,
plus
yeah.
too, like the F word that was I've been talking about those clobbering times because we're old fogies. Like, it was used back then in a way that, you know, I'm not even going to say the word now, obviously, but like it was used more like among friends to like say you're being a jerk or, you know, a bum or a. It didn't mean what that connotation meant in a hateful way. It was meant more like
Like
you know,
annoying
you're being a
Harley
wimp.
riders.
Yeah, and we used it all the time, and not in that hateful way. So that's also when you watch that movie today, and they're using that. Of course, they use it pretty bad, you know, a few times. But it just, you know, language changes. You know, when Scarlett O'Hara said, you know, Rhett Butler says, Frankie, you know, you can, you know, uses, I don't give a damn. That was, you know, big, huge, you know, scandal. You know, think about how laughable that, you know, laughable that is, you know, today. But you know, so language changes, so that, you know, some of those words, you wonder, would they portray it, you know, if they're making a movie in about the 70s, would they use that language today, even though it's considered, you know, hateful language, you know? But then it kind of takes you out of the characters too, because then it's not truthful or not realistic or you know, not an honest portrayal too. So but and also what we're talking about, making this movie as a Western too, which is interesting. So you could kind of remake it, even though
That would
I
be
wouldn't
kind
wanna
of
see
interesting. I'd
remake.
like
Yeah.
to see them do that.
yeah, but like do
That-
something totally different, you know, because, you know, the Magnificent Seven's a remake of Seven Samurai. So, you know, there's different, you know, different cast, obviously, and, you know, became a Western. So there's different ways you can do it. And of course, this story is, you know, one of the oldest stories in humankind too. So we're
You need the right director and writer teamed up in order to do it. And then I'd be so behind, like a Western remake. That is interesting. Even go to Samurai remake. You know, like that would be cool.
yeah.
A samurai meat packer.
The Samurai Meat Packers.
I'm just gonna say the Warriors as is for me is to the end. Is as is. Give us the Meat Packers Gone Samurai, or even the Baseball Furies. Give me the Baseball Furies, Gone Delivery Boys. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Someone got who wrote it here. Lindsay, NTV was going to do a remake. That must have been some time ago. If they were talking movies then, because they have not talked about movies nor music
That would have been
in the
so
last
bad.
10, 15 years. See, that was even before,
Yeah.
I guess you could say, the message dominated the culture then. So clearly people wanted to mess it up then too. And there you go.
Well,
Here's the
it's
article.
such a
Thank you,
good
Mark.
movie with a good premise. Like, it's memorable. There's
Yeah.
so much in it. Like you said, there's the darkness, but there's it's flashy and there's lots of color. Like, it's got this great juxtaposition that people want to reproduce that I don't think they're going to do right.
Nope.
But they want to bring it. They want to modernize it more.
I mean, it was basically a video game in of itself.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking, because I was
Easy.
thinking that when I was watching them, like there's the setup, and then they keep moving from boss to boss to boss to boss.
Oh yeah, yeah, great point. Yeah, that's really good. And this article I posted too, you can the links in there. But if you want to, everyone take a look at it if you're interested later, learning more about the making of the movie. It's a really good, good take on what the movie's about and all the background and how they got it made, and the reunion of the cast 36 years later. So that's pretty cool too. The cast got back together, but it's I read this. Before, and this is Tom Waits, so yeah, it was going to be a Hollywood star. He was Fox, who was acting like a real jerk. So this is a really great article to read, and about the background of the movie. And I love this stuff and reading about it and learning. I learned a lot about this movie I never knew about. I didn't know about that comic book version until Clobbering Times had mentioned, and I said, let me get by that version. I got to get that for this show. So yeah.
Oh, hey, look, they
that.
mentioned the Wanderers in that article, Mark.
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah.
There you go. Look at that. Look at that. No, guys, and everyone in the chat, thank you for hanging out, sticking around, whether you're stuck around or drop by. This is the article Mark posted. In case you want any extra little piece of knowledge about the movie, but it seems like everyone in the chat was ready for this one time because there's so much knowledge being passed around left and right, especially from Lindsay and RC. Like, you guys are killing it. And all the gang names are hilarious. So this is a very absolutely badass chat tonight. Thank you guys. We're gonna do a 2-in-1 mashup for each of you guys. We're gonna do scores, and we're gonna do scores, and then we're gonna do the plugs, and then we'll talk about what movie will be next week. So Mark, what you got, Raquel? Go ahead.
I just want to say I got this recommendation from YouTube. Apparently there are deleted scenes from the movie, The Warriors. I do have the link if anyone wants to check out for
that'd be awesome.
themselves.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
post it in the private chat, and then we'll post it in the comments. Thank you.
I thought that'd be interesting little tidbit for everyone.
Oh yeah, no, please. Hey,
Thank you.
any additional knowledge and insight? No one here is going to complain about that. So thank you for that little piece of contribution.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I thank you.
Yeah, I
Seriously,
love those deleted scenes. And deleted scenes is a cool dude too.
I miss more special features on our movies.
you
During
don't
the
get it
2000s. Oh, all right. So Dustin, we'll have you be the leadoff man. Give us your scores. Dustin.
I think
Oh, you're
your mic-
muted.
Oh yeah. I muted myself because I was doing something. Yeah. I would say overall film score, I would say on this one would be like a 9.5.
Woo!
It's pretty high for me. I mean, just seeing it for the first time today, it really it really hit home with me, and I love it a lot. I mean, it's a great fucking movie. Like, I mean, it was really well done. I mean, there was a lot of tension, and you're just like we talked about, it's very horror movie-esque. Or it could be if there were some jump scares, it would be a very horror movie, more like a horror movie. But as far as toxicity, I mean, it's a pretty toxic movie. I mean, I don't know what Mad would say.
Too many women. That's what Mad would say.
Too many women. So he'd give it a pretty high score. He'd probably give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's true.
And I mean, I don't think if you're handy Randy, I don't think you're going to make it through a lot of these gang fights. You don't have your little pimp hand is not very it's not very strong. But yeah, this is a
Dustin,
great fucking movie.
thank you for coming back, dude. We missed you on here, and always awesome to hear your thoughts and opinions, especially for a movie that you saw for your first time. This kind of made it the whole meeting of the Toxic Tuesday like even better. So you got to see it with the history attached to it. So it's always interesting to see how you view a movie from a different angle versus someone who saw it without knowing about its, I guess you could say, cultural relevance.
Right,
And
right. I
now,
kind of wonder how I would look at it if I watched it when I was like 12, you know what I mean? Because this
Mhm.
came out when I was the year I was born. So
Yes, that's when I saw it about that age. I'm guessing. Yep, around 1988, whenever it came out on VHS. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
All right. No, hey, Dustin, awesome. Thank you for your scores. Mark, why don't you sound off on
thank
your
you.
scores? And
Yeah.
chat,
So
sound off on yours while Mark is sounding away.
thank you. Yeah, no, so this was awesome again, and yep, had a lot of fun watching that comic book version. So, or that the new director's cut version. So, like I was saying, I saw this, as a kid, 10, 12-year-old kid, wasn't supposed to watch this movie on a sleepover. One of the buddies, like, his older brother got the tape, and we were watching it. So it's kind of like an outlaw thing. I just had a lot of fun, a lot of fun watching it, and I give this like a 9.5. It's a simplistic story, but really well done story. I thought, unfortunately, Fox got killed off because that might have been an interesting character to see what what had happened to him, or where that would have gone. So,
Mhm.
unfortunately, he was an a-hole to the director. But yeah, it was so really good movie, fun. It moves along. There's a lot of tension. The music, atmosphere is really good. So that soundtrack is good. It really creeps you out, and those all the different gangs, maybe they seem kind of goofy, some of the but the gang, the the Furies, and all those different gangs that make them and that get up. If you saw that those guys in the middle of the night, he might be totally flipped out. So yeah, that was some scary stuff. So Toxic, I'm going to give it like a 9 point. I go pretty high on the Toxic, like give it a 9 for toxicity too, because the guys are all toxic. You've got an extremely toxic female, which is awesome. I know Matt is probably scoring a -10 on that one, but she takes down the orphan gang and says, what a bunch of wimps you guys are. So yeah, that was good, and all the the scenes, the fights were good. Everything about this movie is good. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch it and try to get that the Blu-ray. I think that special edition is one to get. So Warriors come out to play. Yep.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Mark, and thank you for basically co-hosting the show with me. And so you were running
Thank you.
the
Yep.
visuals and
I think that
helping
worked out pretty
people
good,
in.
right? I think it helped, right? Yeah.
No, we've made a great team with this. Thank you. This is
Thank you. Yep.
badass.
Makes it a little bit easier, hopefully, for
Oh,
everyone. Yeah.
dude, it does. And soon you'll be teaching me how to do those things.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be good. Raquel, our guest tonight. Why don't you sound off on your scores?
Let's see. I will give the film a 9, and the toxicity 9.5.
Ooh, what makes it
I
toxic?
all the grittiness and the fights and stuff. Um, I would say that was a really enjoyable film. I would definitely recommend. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
All right, simple and straight and to the point. Well, hey, I thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you
This
for
is
inviting me. I
Oh,
had
yeah.
fun.
good. That's ultimately what matters. We're here to just enjoy a movie, shoot the shit about it, talk about it, and have an interactive chat. And nature takes place after that. So thank you for coming on. And yeah, someday down the line, we'll bring you back
That was
on
awesome.
if the flick.
Of
Thank you,
course.
Raquel.
It
Do you have a
troubles ya.
channel, Raquel? Or do you have a
Yes,
channel?
I do.
Let me. Can you put it in the private chat, and I shall post it.
All right, I'll put it in the private chat.
We want everyone to sub to
Um,
Raquel, then. Yep.
I do funhouse
soon as-
shenanigans with my friends every Thursday, and I do watch parties in between.
Awesome.
Yeah, it really TZ Canadian agrees. Nice to have you on, Raquel. Yes, it was nice to have her on here.
Thank you, guys.
Definitely welcome addition. So yeah, we'll have you plug as well. So YetiCast, why don't you sign off on your scores and plug your channel?
Okay, well, I'd probably give this 8.5 out of 10. And only reason why not a little bit higher, because I think they missed a couple opportunities to like just expand on it just a little bit. And maybe a bit more creative with the gangs. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
No.
You know, like not the Jazzercise gang, but you know, have I know someone just a little bit more menacing than the Purple Bedazzlers, you know? And so that gets it knocked down by 0.5 because the rest is just amazing. But Toxicity, that gets a 9. Like Hollywood's not going to touch this, and that's probably for the better.
Oh, definitely for the better. All right, dude. Well, hey, anything you want to plug in about your channel you got coming up? I know obviously you got a kick-ass video you did on the Boba Fett Rangers. Anything else you got coming up that we should know about?
I've been trying to work on a follow-up video to that, but it's not clicking right, so I'm trying to make some changes, which is make me take a little bit longer. In the meantime, I've been doing some gaming streams. Just they were easier to start, so you know, come check that out. I'm gonna get back to my regular routine of like the real normal streams very soon. And yeah, make sure that you also subscribe to Mad Mardigan, because I'm on the Street Smarts every Wednesday and Saturday at 3 Central. So subscribe there too, because
all right.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, hey, Yeti.
He is criminally undersubbed.
Don't you worry. Yeah.
He's criminally something.
Oh man. I know. Matt, yeah, Matt is and here's Yeti Cast's channel, guys. All right, there's Yeti Cast. And what else do you got?
One last thing. Matt's gonna have out a new video very, very soon that's supposed to be absolutely hilarious. I haven't seen it, but I've heard from Mr. Grant Gregory, like he was dying from watching it. So check out the channel because it's supposed to be very good. So that's another reason to subscribe to Mad.
All right, awesome. Well, Yeti, thank you. I've
Thanks
got something. Yeah, as always, I'll be sending something your way soon for a video. We'll discuss those ideas soon once it fully blossoms in my head. Dustin, why don't you plug in your channel, sir?
All right. I have Keto Simple over on YouTube. I post videos that are product reviews, cooking videos, recipe videos, that type of stuff. And I do have a podcast called The Death of Nuance on YouTube as well.
Nice.
We
Killer.
just talk about whatever we want.
Nice. General statements. I love it. Killer, Dustin. Awesome. That was his channel, guys. Well, let me go back to it. Sorry, I'm boomering things tonight. For all the knowledge I'm spitting out about the movie, I am messing up everywhere.
You've been up too long, right?
Maybe that's what it is. So, chat, I apologize.
You wouldn't have survived as a warrior, maybe staying up all night.
Yeah, that's dude.
Just kidding.
No, well, I did yelling at Park Car till 12:30. We chatted to like 1 a.m. I woke up at 5 this morning, and
God.
yeah, this is a me issue, guys. No one else's fault but my own. But it's okay.
The heavily sugared cereal didn't do its trick for the whole day, right?
I had a bowl of PJ Masks cereal this morning. It was really good.
PJ Masks is the PJ Masks.
Yep.
I need to ask you, Nick, how did that Wendy's Frosty cereal go?
It was all right. It was good. The problem was, actually, it was really good. The issue was it doesn't taste like a Frosty. It tastes just like a regular chocolate cereal. Which a regular chocolate cereal in its own context is really good. It's amazing.
So it's like Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, it's just Cocoa Puffs. And like it's weird because like when you open the bag, like the seal, it smells like a Frosty. It smells like a damn Frosty. But it doesn't taste like a Frosty. So I'm kind of like, what the frick, man? Like I said, it's good in its own right, but it's not a Wendy's Frosty. It's just not. So.
He's like one step away from burning down the system because it didn't taste right.
Yeah,
I want my Frosty.
I do. No, I do. I paid for Frosty. I better damn well get a Frosty. All right. Last but definitely not least, once again, the man who kept the visuals going, and also a man with a great YouTube channel as well. And he's a builder of things.
Thank you,
He's
Nick.
host
Yep.
the Sunday Night Geekery, Mr. Mark D with a C.
Thank you.
What
Appreciate
you got
it,
coming
yeah.
out, dude?
Yeah, so I always got Sunday Night Geekery, and I'm on Thursday night with Clobbering Time and Raquel Briggs. We do Clobby's Clubhouse and just hang out, talk Star Trek. I do a lot of 3D printing, model building, toys. There's my old Micronaut. I got some toy reviews coming up, so I've been kind of slacking lately. I got to get my act back in gear on the new year, so getting more videos out than just the show. And I also do late night gaming with some Fortnite, a lot of the Dad Man Clan, and once in a while we get Clobbering Times on there, so have a lot of fun doing that. So yeah, appreciate the subs and the views, and if you like old toys and hobbies and comics, I was just on the other night with Clobbering Times talking about the Thing, Fantastic Four 2-in-1 annual, and I try to make it to Friday night comics on your channel a lot, Nick, but sometimes that turns out to be family night, so sometimes I miss, but yeah, I always look forward to that too. So
awesome, killer, dude. All right, so next week since there's a sports game coming up, a Superb Owl on the way, and we're gonna take a little bit of a left field turn. No pun intended with the left field turn. And we're gonna tackle a very toxic Varsity Blues movie. I hope that you guys. This was a suggestion from one of the boys here on this Toxic Tuesday panel. Hopefully, you guys will come and give this a shot and say, hey, let's see what's going on with this different flick. And if Matt is saying it's toxic, I want to know why it's toxic. So this alone is reason to cover Varsity Blues, especially if it's a very toxic sports movie. So that'll be our toxic flick for next week, Varsity Blues. And then the week after will be Return to Form. We have to find out what that is next week. But anyways, I've got.
When is that big sports ball game? Is that in 2 weeks or 1 week?
Next, not this
2 week
weekend,
wait?
but the weekend following.
They're doing 2 weeks. They're going back to the 2 week wait, not 1 week. Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking. I don't follow all that stuff that closely anymore. Yep.
Nick skips the game but still eats like 10 pounds of chicken wings.
Yeah, I'll eat the food. Yes, and deleted scenes. I think he's familiar. Awesome, good. Anyways, guys, yeah, that will be Varsity Blues is the next thing. Comic Shop Talk will be defending the Inhumans and why they are great, and that is talking about the comic book format of the character. And I've got a few more videos coming your ways. Maybe a few Mickey Mouse parodies, some more making fun of pop songs. It's going to be great. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. And of course, I'm on Yelling at Park Cars with Comics Division. Most of you know that because that's how most of you found me. Anyways, thank you all once again to the chat. You've been awesome. Thank you to the stream elements, tippers. You have all been great. And thank you all for your awesome knowledge and your jokes and your scores. I appreciate it. You all have a magical night. There's not going to be some big, boom, extravagant outro.
Want to play the video again? You want to play that video again?
Yeah, we'll just play the video as we go out. So
let me
Mark,
cue that up.
Why don't you play the video for them?
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Have a great night. Here's the video.
Let me hold on. Let me share my screen here.
Yes.
I'm boomering it. Hold on.
my boomer is rubbed off on him.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear you like rubbing off on someone.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
You're too late.
I know.
Too late. Yeah.
To play.
Goodbye, folks.
Warrior,
We'll see you all next week.
come out to play.
Rainbow, go away.